We did it. We did it. We did it. We did it again. No, I know, buddy. I know. Who am I talking to? It must be a stranger out in the middle of nowhere. That's what must be happening. John wouldn't just start talking to no one, right? He must be talking to someone. Go eat your peanut butter, buddy. Go eat your peanut butter. Go eat your peanut butter. Yeah, you're a good boy. I know. All you really want is pets and cuddles. Isn't that just the way for all of us? All we all really want is pets and cuddles, right? Hi, Mock. How you doing, bud? You're in early. Good to see you, bud. I have no idea what I want to play. Coming in with a 10 already, pissed off? Come on, bud. You know what song I know you like, pissed off? I know you like this one, so I'm going to play it for you.
Another month inside this car. The wage they pay me with don't get me very far. The chains that hold me break me down, but they don't scar. Can't even drink away my blues inside a bar. And this year sucks. This year sucks. Can you blame a man for trying to give it up? And this year sucks. Another day won't help that pain inside your back. The days get harder, but it's too hard to keep track. They keep you tired before your soul opens a crack. And God don't care what monkeys think about the facts. And this year sucks. This year sucks. Can you blame a man for trying to give it up? And this year sucks. So sit atop your pile of bones and bloody gold, and human sacrifice don't stop you being old. At least you'll die before the bomb you said explodes. We're gonna burn to death while doing what we're told. And this year sucks. This year sucks. Can you blame a man for trying to give it up? This year sucks. It burns down anyway. It burns down anyway. It burns down anyway. It burns down anyway. Yeah.
For you, POC. I hope you're doing well out there, bud. Hope you're doing well. All right, you guys. Hey, Eziel. Hey, Ruth. How you doing? Good to see you. You guys are chomping at the bit to get to the number draw. And all of you must just be like, oh, I'm going to get it this time. Mock, are you in on this? You want to draw a number? I'm going with a 5. Feeling like a 5 is today.
Here we go for today's
number.
It's November 10,
What's it
2021. 10 balls. Each ball has a number. Numbers 1 through 10. Swirl the numbers.
Gonna swirl the numbers.
Pick a number.
Lonnie in with a 5, last minute. Here we go. That's a 9.
Today's number
Just the way
is...
he was doing it, I think it's a 9. 7.
7.
Ruth and Mocked. We got 2 winners. Okay, you guys are going to have to split the prize, though, okay? So exciting. I'm actually thinking, I've got enough songs now that I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to number the songs, and then depending on what he draws, that's the song that I'm going to play. Huh? What do you guys think? I think that's a good idea, right? Just go through and so no matter what, right? That's what's going to happen. I think it's a great idea. Then it randomizes it, it ties it into the David Lynch thing, and then you guys get a song out of it, right? And then I get to dedicate the song to the winner. Isn't that nice? Huh? Isn't that nice? I'm thinking, right? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everything's going well for each and every one of you out there. Hope you had a nice day. I had some nice conversations today with Barry, the Federal Secretary of Socialist Action. Very passionate, well-read individual. I'm gonna, and we talked about hopefully getting him onto the show more often because, it's just, he's so knowledgeable. Like, he's got such a breadth of information, and he's so passionate about the subject that you've got to get a guy like that on if he's willing to come on. So hopefully sometime next week. I'm also trying to get Nico on, and I'm also trying to get Isabella on. So hopefully all of the stars will align and all that will come together, and we'll see what we can do. So hope each and every one of you are doing great. Let's pop into today's news. So the U.S. government just dramatically escalated its economic war on Nicaragua. Biden signed the Renaissance Act, which will impose more crushing sanctions. If you guys don't know, the Sandinistas, is that the Sandinistas? I knew I was mispronouncing. The Sandinistas recently won the war. The election in Nicaragua, right? Down here, Nicaragua. They recently won yet another election. Right? Just as Maduro has won the election in Venezuela. And so they're just following this playbook. Right? This is the same playbook Washington used in its coup attempts against Venezuela. And so just like what's going on in Venezuela, they're trying to do it in Nicaragua as well. And and this is always for, what if you keep imposing sanctions on everybody, right? Like, if you impose sanctions on all of South America, huge sections of Africa, right? China, Russia, you impose sanctions on the whole world, you're the one that's isolating yourself, right? And that's clearly what the United States is doing. And it's just isolating itself from the rest of the world more and more, and driving places like Nicaragua and Venezuela and Cuba and all these places into the hands of their enemies, the Chinese, right? That Cuba is already officially connected to the Belt and Road Initiative. Of course, it can't be connected by rail, unless the Chinese have an under-ocean rail that we don't know about, just like those sneaky commies. But so Cuba is tied in, which is going to be a huge benefit for Cuba, right? A huge benefit for Cuba. Cuba has a lot to offer the world, a lot of good luxury goods, right? That it can offer, and China is, of course, a major manufacturing sector. Trade cigars for tools, right? Trade cigars for tools. It's really easy. So hopefully, and Nicaragua's going to do the same thing. You're gonna start to see Nicaragua, Venezuela, Bolivia, Peru, right? Ecuador. These are creating a federation, right? They're going to federate. And once they start to federate, there's not much that the United States is going to be able to do about it. Who cares if there's United States sanctions? That is eventually what's going to happen. It's just going to be China is going to be trading with Russia, is going to be trading with the rest of the world, and the United States is just going to be the terrorist organization that occasionally blows up a boat. That's what it's going to be. Yeah, they cheat and kill. It's the only way they get anything. Yeah, that's capitalism, man. That's capitalism 101, right? Just destroy other people on their land, enslave them, take their stuff, and then say this is the most efficient model, right? That's how it rolls. So, a good opener. People ask what you do for a living so they can calculate the level of respect they give you. Straight up, right? Straight up. So here, wealth tax now. CUPE Ontario calls on province to institute changes to tax system. This is actually a really, really big news. This is really, really big news. This is a local union, the Canadian Union of Public Employees, right, during a press conference. CUPE Ontario's 280,000 members are saying that in the face of growing income and wealth inequality, it's time to institute changes to our tax system where those who can afford to pay more start paying their fair share, said Fred Hahn, president of CUPE Ontario. It's time for a wealth tax, and that's why we're launching this campaign and calling on Ontarians to send a message to the province now. So if Andrea Horwath does not immediately stand up and start talking this way, she's dense as a pole, right? Like, she's absolute. And I wouldn't be too surprised to find out that, like, they have released this in conjunction with the NDP, right? Because they understand that, like, the Conservatives are not going to do that, right? The Conservatives are definitely not going to do that. Governments reduce regulations. Well, Han was joined by a press conference. Economist and author Share the Wealth, How We Can Tax Canada's Super Rich and Create a Better Country for Everyone. That's CUPE senior economist and author Alex Hemingway, senior economist and public finance policy analysis at the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives, BC office. Man, how's that for a mouthful? Governments reduce regulations. They slash corporate taxes and taxes on wealth like capital gains. They weakened labor protections. They reduced social transfers, said McEwen. This wealth equality is not some kind of natural trend. It was a decision that this is the best way to grow the economy, which has been a complete failure, right? It was a decision a growing number of people are beginning to recognize and oppose, said Hemingway. The problem of extreme economic inequality is really clearer than ever, he added. Canadians have expressed that they're anxious for action to rein this in. The problem is recognized, and what is needed now is action. The good news is that's well within our power, using a whole range of public policy tools. Like, this has got to be an absolute slam dunk for the NDP, right? How do you not run on this? You already have 280,000 members from unions saying it. Like, I can tell you right now, retail workers and minimum wage workers are going to be in favor of it. Like, it just seems an oddity that I'm not seeing more from our provincial NDP. Yeah, let's hope Chile and Honduras go left this month. Absolutely. Do you think Republicans will win in 24? Yeah. Just yes. Like, will it be like the big swing and will they seize everything? I don't know. But I mean, they're like, these Democrats couldn't look weaker, right? They just couldn't look more pathetic than they do. Like, are you kidding me? Literally one guy, Joe Manchin, is the reason you can't get stuff done. Shut up. Like, that's such an obvious grift. Like, we're obviously being grifted. Like, these guys are obviously losers. And it really just does come down to, like, a disenfranchised, disillusioned Democratic supporter or Democratic supporters will not show up, right? It's exactly what happened to Obama year one, Obama year two, right? That Obama year one, it was like this huge upswell. And then Obama, not year two, but Obama election two, it like dwindled significantly. It went down significantly because people were just like not impressed. He wasn't a very impressive leader, right? And in fact, betrayed many of us and disillusioned the entire populace and then led to the election of Donald Trump. And I mean, I just see the exact same thing happening. That like Biden comes in with like this big, like, we're going to get shit done and here's a bunch of promises. And then they don't deliver on any of them. Like, they deliver on basically nothing. The stuff that they do deliver on and that like the diehard dyed-in-the-wool Democrats really stand up and support are just like real tiny piecemeal shit. Like stuff that I wouldn't even consider a success, right? Like it'd be like somebody is telling me like, but I tied my shoes when I got out of the house. And I'm like, yeah, so? It's like as basic as it can get, right? Like, good for you. You tied your fucking shoes. Like, I'm not impressed. I'm super not impressed. And like, and at the end of the day, right, the Biden Democrats, people aren't going to come out because they've been disillusioned and they don't care anymore. And Donald Trump supporters are rabid, right? So Donald Trump supporters will show up and the other guys won't. It's pretty straightforward. Nobody that pays less than 30K shouldn't pay taxes. I mean, like, I have big opinions about our taxation system. Like, we could erect a financial transaction tax of like 1% and eliminate all other forms of taxation, right? Like that, we could 100% do that, right? The financial sector in our society is extraordinarily bloated. It's completely glutted. There is currently no tax on stock exchange. There's currently no tax on buying bonds or anything like that. There's nothing like that going on, even though it represents an enormous section of our economy. Like, we could literally get rid of income tax. We could get rid of property tax. We could get rid of basically every tax we have right now. We could get rid of it with like a 1, maybe 2% financial transaction tax, right? But that would mean actually taxing the activity of the wealthy. And so we're not going to do that. We learned our lesson, John. We'll never re-elect Trump. You think? You think, Onward? You think? I don't know. I don't know, bud. I don't know. Big question marks. Big question marks. I just think that Biden's crew doesn't show up. That they're going to look around in like 3 more years' time, right? That in 2 years' time, there's going to be the midterm elections. It's very likely that the Democrats will lose power, right? And then in 2 years' time after that, lots of people are just going to look around and just be like, nothing's changed. Everything's the same. This place is shit. Fuck these guys, right? And the people who are saying fuck these guys, the Democrats, that when they say fuck these guys, it means they don't show up and vote. When the mega cult says fuck these guys, it means they show up and vote in droves. That's the difference, right? Dems are doing nothing. Yeah. And it's just like, bleh. Bleh. So I actually expect like an incredibly low voter turnout, right? Like maybe the lowest in the history of the nation, right? And when the Democrats, when numbers like that get low, Republicans win. Also, Anime Paul finally resigned. Dimitri, where are you? We'll see. We'll see how that all goes. Did she finally resign? I mean, come on, man. Like exit gracefully. You know, that was my big complaint for Anime Paul. Like, what a rough go she had. I gotta be straight. Like, I think that if she had have been in power like 5 years ago, she would have done a lot better. But like, at the end of the day, she's just a neoliberal, right? Right when people are like, get the fuck out of here, neoliberals. Like, we don't want any more neoliberals. And the Green Party should absolutely be the Socialist Party. Dimitri Lascaris is exactly the guy, right? And just like, I just really don't like the way Anime Paul left. Like, she really waffled. Starting to think the Dems will lose Congress in 2022. Biden might be reelected, and the GOP has Congress through 2028. Nothing gets done the whole time. Yeah, just a stalemate where things get worse, never ever comes to a head and gets resolved. Well, except military spending. Like they'll push through all the military spending you want to see. There's something I want to briefly talk about. It's in the back of my head, and so I just got to get it out into the world, and then we can move on from there. Okay? So, lots of people recently have been talking about this guy to me. Infrared. He even came into the channel very briefly one time. He's got like 11,000 subscribers, all this kind of stuff. And it's, and I don't really pay attention to him. And people have been asking my opinion of him. And I usually reserve my opinion until I find the linchpin, right? Like, and the best commentators are the people who will show you their linchpin, right? They'll literally be like, this is the linchpin to my entire belief system. If you can assault this and dismantle it, you will dismantle every other aspect of myself. And I think I've found that, and it was actually pretty easy because he basically served it up. Why communism is conservative. This is incoherent. This is incoherence. Why communism is conservative. Conservatism, by definition, is the maintenance of the current system. right? The current tradition, the current prevailing model. What's happening now, if you are a conservative, is what you want to do, right? That's conservatism. It's like the dictionary definition. And like throughout all time, that's been the definition. Like being a traditionalist, wanting the economy to be maintained as it is now. These are conservative values. Communism is explicitly a revolutionary project in order to upset the status quo. That is exactly what it is, by definition. It is revolutionary in nature. It seeks to overthrow the current prevailing model and replace it with something new. That's the definition of it. So conservatism and communism are at odds with one another. By definition. By definition. And so I was very curious to see this, why communism is conservative. And so you can see how much of the video I've watched. And I have to be very clear and very honest with you guys. This guy is incoherent. He just talks a lot. Right? And we're so bereft of actual thinkers. We're so bereft of people who are actually knowledgeable and actually know what's going on, that a guy like this is actually gained a gathering or a force. And if you listen to this video, I don't recommend you do. Even the people in his own chat, like this right here, they're essentially accusing him of word salad, right? Just talking for the sake of talking. And in a way, like his chat is almost like making fun of him the whole time. It's like he's kind of a clownish figure to them, honestly. And the entire time he's talking in this framework of like defending conservatism from being accused of being anti-homosexuality or anti-LGBTQ or anti any of that kind of stuff. And so he's talking about gender issues and those sorts of issues, which are important to talk about in all of this, in a defense of conservatism, to then say that that's why it's actually communism. It's completely incoherent. It doesn't make any sense. And if he is incoherent on this subject, he's going to be incoherent on everything. And it really did strike me, from what I could make from the word salad that he was making, is that he's desperately seeking a justification for his own homophobia. That really seems to be the way. That he seems to be seeing that communism is on the rise, and he wants to be on the correct side of the trend as it's growing, but he doesn't want to relinquish his homophobia or his like male fragility or any of that. That's like genuinely what it looks like to me, from what I can sort of suss out from what he's saying, because it's mainly incoherent. Like, go take a look at this video, pick any part of it, listen for 5 minutes. Yeah, I couldn't figure out his angle and just moved on. Yeah, because I don't think he knows his angle. Like, if I wanted to be really, really generous to this guy, I think I'm just looking at a young man who is struggling with what it is to be alive in the world, and he doesn't know what to do. And so he's just expressing himself how he feels he wants to be expressed, but he doesn't know anything. Like, his positions are incoherent. And it's really, really obvious. But Caleb, and the big reason why I bring it up, Caleb, is that he's not a joke. This guy has 11,000 subscribers. His community is growing, right? His community is growing. And I am concerned that what we are seeing is the rise of a co-opting movement that is seeking to co-opt communism for itself, but really is far-right conservatism. The reason why that concerns me is that there are many instances through history where far-right people have seized power doing exactly that. Right? Adolf Hitler comes to mind. Not that I'm saying he's Adolf Hitler, but just this trajectory that he is on, where he's attempting to use far-right conservatism and to connect it to far-left ideas and principles, right? It's, there's a term for it, Nazbol, where Nazbol, exactly, where fascism and communism are the same thing to these guys, where they connect on those grounds, and it's incoherent. It doesn't make sense. And I think that's my final position on it. I don't think I've got anything much more to say about it, because, you can look in front of a camera and just be like, the ecclesiastical ephemeral nature of our being means that progressive versions throughout time goes forward in the time scale. And what was conservative before isn't conservative now. And so there's an existential understanding that happened through the Enlightenment period that Martin Luther King stood up and said, I have a dream, right? You can talk like that for hours, and if people tune in, they tune in, right? No, he's incoherent. He's not economically left, but culturally right, or both right wing. He's incoherent. That's really what it is. Jimmy Dore's been really walking into the weeds recently. Jimmy Dore's been walking into the weeds recently with the anti-vax stuff. I haven't done enough to do a real breakdown, but it does look like Jimmy's really putting himself out there and really catering to the anti-vax crowd. It looks like. I haven't seen anything that convinces me he's gone completely off the rails. I always believe that Jimmy Dore is coming from a position of good faith. That's the reason why I like Jimmy Dore and why I listen to Jimmy Dore and I give a lot of credibility to Jimmy Dore. But recently he's also been going after Noam Chomsky. Jimmy likes to fight the culture wars. Lonnie, I think you've really hit it on the head why I think me and Jimmy are gonna see a divergence. That because he doesn't actually have a foothold on Marxism, he doesn't actually understand what communism is. He does sort of view communism as a negative because he's bought into the propaganda surrounding communism and the communists, and because he doesn't have that materialistic critique, he doesn't have that structural critique, all that's left is the culture war, right? That's really all that's left for him, especially as the right wing does the same thing, right? And embarks on the culture war, right? The critical race theory, all this kind of stuff. And it's fairly well established that Jimmy Dore does kind of cater to right wingers, right? And I don't think far right. I don't think he's actually interested in the far right. But I mean, America is so far to the right that it's difficult to not, right? And I actually think the guy should just read the Communist Manifesto. I bet you anything that if Jimmy Dore just read the Communist Manifesto, he would become a much more powerful figure. But he does seem to kind of be going a little off the rails, a little bit. And I think he would say that he is wading into territory like a guy like him. If you tell him you can't talk about this, he's going to, right? He's going to. And I feel like the anti-vax thing is right along those lines. And because there's a corporate power structure, because there's big business in bed with government, I really do feel like he's just throwing shade at that whole thing, and he's trying to pry something open. And he's happy to put himself in the position where he looks like a fool for a little while, and then he comes out years later and he pulls out a document and he's like, I was right the whole time, right? He's done that on several occasions. And so I say about Jimmy Dore, let him tread water. Let him tread water. Let him tread water and let him go off the rails a little bit. That's kind of his role, isn't it? To go off the rails a little bit. I say we let him do it and see if he'll drown himself. Yeah, see if he'll drown himself. Because it's quite possible that he won't, and that he'll come back and he'll have a piece of paper and he'll be like, I was right the whole time, and we'll all be like, oh shit, Jimmy was right, right? It's completely possible. So I don't mind that he's going off the rails a little bit, because it seems like that's always been his role. But I hope he comes back. Read the Communist Manifesto, Jimmy Dore. Like, read the Communist Manifesto. It's not long. Like, put on the audiobook. Yeah, Nazbol's economic life doesn't make any sense. Hitler was funded by capitalists, and once in power, he privatized state-owned businesses. Exactly, right? It's incoherent. Like, the word is incoherent. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, Jimmy Dore, I respect that. Jimmy Dore's really lost me. Like, yeah, like I say, he's gone off the rails a little bit. There are a lot of leftists that are trying to recruit the far right. Well, and because a lot of what's going on with the far right is they're just reacting to their abandonment, right? And they don't have a critique and they don't know what's going on. So I actually think that they are like rife for it. Like, I think that if you take a lot of these far right guys and you just talk to them on a one-to-one basis, and they just start talking about, like, and you start asking them, so what are some of the solutions? What should we do? A lot of the shit they're going to start talking about is from the Communist Manifesto. Like, a lot of shit that they talk about. Like, a lot of the solutions and a lot of the ideas that exist on what we would consider the far right in America. Maybe not the far right, because once you get into far right, you are talking about, like, eliminating minority groups. But, like, on the right, when they stand up and start talking about, like, solutions, they sound like communists. They really do. And it becomes pretty, like, if you can convince these guys to actually read the Communist Manifesto or listen to the audiobook and just be like, just put aside all the communism, the anti-communism hate, and just listen to what's being said, I do think that there is something there, right? I do think it's possible. There's fertile ground. There's fertile soil, right? Like, if these guys are listening to QAnon, they might listen to you. Jimmy started reading Lenin and Marx last month. Did he? Well, good for him. See what he thinks of them. I look forward to that. I do. Because I think that Jimmy, like, again, I'll say it over and over again. The reason why I like Jimmy Dore is because he's coming from a place of good faith. I think he's rooted in, like, a fundamental moral, he's morally centered. You know what I mean? Like, he's upright. He's a stand-up guy. Right? He's not saying something just to be a troll to anyone except the power structure. And so I think that, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to hear his perspective on that, actually. I think it's really going to help him. Like, I think it's really going to help him. He's not anti-vax, he's vaccinated, he's anti-mandates, anti-censorship of not being able to discuss vaccines without being labeled as anti-vax. Exactly, pissed off Canadian. That's a really great point. That's a really good point to say about Jimmy Dore. That, like, but it's because there's, like, and it's something I've been saying, like, can we have these conversations about mandates and vaccinations and all this kind of stuff without just being labeled anti-vax and then shunted into a corner, right? Like, why do I have to obey? Like, what's with this obedience that I have to do and the subservience? Richard Wolff went on his show to be against mandates. I think he's pro-vax, just anti-mandate, anti-flip-flopping. I don't know. Yeah. What do I think of Max Blumenthal? I think Max Blumenthal is a powerful journalist. He also has waded into the weeds in terms of this vaccination stuff. To me, it looks like he and Jimmy Dore have completely grabbed hands with one another and are really not interested. Or sorry, they've grabbed hands with one another and they're really trying to push back. Right? They're looking for that linchpin. They're looking for that, like, where is it? They're trying to pull it out. I really like Max Blumenthal. He did some really excellent work. His book, The Management of Savagery, is like must-read material. Really, really stunning stuff. Really eye-opening stuff. So, yeah. What do I think about the white middle-class NIMBYs? Not in my backyard? They suck. Hello, Major. How you doing, bud? I just don't want to hear about vaccines all day. For or against, I got limited time. That's true, too, dude. Like, that's the reason I don't really pay much attention. That's the reason I don't pay too much attention, right? Like, let's go that way. Because, like... yeah, I got no time for this. Like, If he stands up and he finds the smoking gun and he reports on the smoking gun, I'll hear that. But it's the speculation I don't care for. That's really what it comes down to for me, right? Like I want something. I want the meat and potatoes. That's what I want. Ah, yes. Did you see Abby Martin's question, Nancy Pelosi? I actually have that up and ready to go. Where do I have it? Let's just play it. Let's go.
I want a woman. I want a woman. A woman. A woman. Gender equality here.
I love this, by the way. Nancy Pelosi's like, I want a woman. I want a woman. And then she picks, like, Abby Martin, who is, like, like knife drawn. Like, I'm here to kill you.
Maybe I don't, but let's see.
Abby Martin with the Empire Files. Speaker Pelosi, you just presided over a large increase in the Pentagon budget. This Pentagon budget is already massive. The Pentagon is a larger polluter than 140 countries combined. How can we seriously talk about net zero if there is this bipartisan consensus to constantly expand this large contributor to climate change, which is exempt from these conferences? That's
a powerful question to a powerful person, right? Like, God bless Abby Martin. God bless Abby Martin. I'm desperately in love with you, Abby Martin. You got to leave your war veteran husband, right? I know you just had a baby with him, but you should be with me, Abby Martin. What a beautiful woman. What a beautiful person. What a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing. Okay. Let's listen to Nancy Pelosi. Fucking ghoul, Nancy Pelosi.
Military is exempt from climate talks.
Well, I just want to use an example if I can. The sea level rise is an important part of what's happening to the climate. And I am not a defense person, but I've had so many talks with the Defense Department, with the Navy in particular, about how they have to respond to what's going on. So I really do think that there is no reason why what we're putting together, with Build Back Better and other things, can't respond to the Defense Department and have the same impact in terms of reducing emissions. And I do think that the Defense Department is very much aware of the fact that they have to play a major role, both from a strategic as well as, for the good of the world. So I don't see what we're doing in any way, or, increasing the defense budget as being something that's inconsistent with climate action. I really don't.
I'm sure you don't. That's my response to that, right? Is I'm sure you don't see any, like, contradiction there. Like, I'm sure that you, embedded death cultist in the death cult system, don't see an inconsistency between raising the budget for the number one polluter on the planet and their continued and overt and obvious pollution, right? What we witnessed just then is the level of detachment and delusion that these guys are under. These guys are delusional, right? They don't know what's going on.
And may I just add that the national security advisors all tell us that the climate crisis is a national security matter. It is, of course, a health matter for our children, the water they drink, the air they breathe, etc. It is a jobs issue between clean technologies being the future of our workforce and the training for all of that. It is a national security issue because of the all of the conditions that climate crisis produces. I won't go into all of them, but they are cause for migration, conflict over habitat and resources, and again, a security challenge globally. And then the fourth, of course, the moral issue that we need to pass on this planet to future generations in a responsible way. Now, recognizing what you said.
Okay, I want to just touch on it because she just said, like, oh, the military, they tell us it's a national security issue, right? But their goal is not to stop it. Their goal is to deal with it, right? It's not to get in front of it and prevent it from happening, right? It's to absorb it and manage it. That's what they're doing. They're not interested in stopping it. They're interested in managing it. That's the key difference. When they say it's a national security risk, which it certainly is, they are going to treat it like an offensive invading army that they have to fight back against, instead of simply saying, oh, we could just stop polluting.
We recognize that as well. And a big user of fuel, there have been many initiatives over time, more successful with more technology, to convert from fossil fuel to other sources of fuel to run the military, because it would make the biggest difference. Transportation, defense.
She just said the biggest difference is the transition from fossil fuel to other forms of fuel, not stopping, right? Understand this key thing. It isn't even in the way they're thinking. They're not even talking about or considering or taking seriously at all the idea that we could just stop, right? That's not on the table. The military must continue its adventurism. The military must continue destroying and dominating the globe. We must be able to just bomb the shit out of everybody. We must be able to do that, right? We can't simply stop doing that.
These are two of the biggest, that can make the biggest difference in all of that. And that is something we're very, very focused on. As I say, the Defense Department sees this systemically, that we have to stop it as a national security issue. And one way to do that is to stop our dependence on fossil fuels, which exacerbate the climate crisis.
So stop your dependence on fossil fuels, but don't stop invading other countries, right? Don't stop actually sending military vessels around. Don't stop the domination. Don't stop the supremacy, just transition the fuel. It's a total failure on the face of it, right? Superficially. You don't need to do a deep analysis. It superficially fails. It's obvious that it fails, right? Like saying, I am going to prevent myself from killing myself when I stab myself in the heart by replacing this knife with a dagger. That's what's being said. That instead of using this knife, I'll use this knife. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, she's 81 and the second person in line for the presidency. Have I seen the Nancy Pelosi glitch video this week? No. I don't think I'm going to seek that out. Don't think I'm going to seek that out. My frustration with young people is that they think success is supposed to happen like that. Oprah. She's full of shit. Young people don't expect for things to happen like that. They expect it to at least be able to find a job after graduating and being $80K in debt, not having to move back in with their parents, not having insurance, not having any foreseeable chance of retiring, ... These fucking people are so detached. Like, they're detached. They don't know what's going on in the world around them. Period. Like, their lives are literally just living in palaces, having their assistants bring them lattes and shit. All right. Nancy Pelosi glitch video. Is this the one? Probably
10
not.
states, as I said, on Friday, started their early voting the day that we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
You know what? I gotta be straight.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Okay.
We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution.
You're not ruling anything out.
That one's funny.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the...
Yeah, like, how much of what's going on, guys, do you think is dementia? Like, how much of this do you think is actually like these people are so old that they don't actually have a grasp on what's going on? Like they literally don't have a grip on it at all. Pelosi.exe has stopped working. All right. I'm not going to spend too much more time on this. Vice News is reporting. So that's a Rupert Murdoch-owned company that exists in this sort of like millennial, like for some reason Vice News has gotten a free pass. That the millennials are all like, Fox News, I don't trust them at all. Vice, right? Like it's odd. It's odd that we look at Vice and just kind of give it a pass. Anyway. Yeah, no more Pelosi. I'm about to go full MAGA. Yeah, we're moving on. We've moved on. Pelosi segmentation fault. Please flip over. Reddit's million-strong anti-work community wants to black out Black Friday. Right? The viral subreddit is organizing a general strike on Black Friday. Can it become a political movement? Just the fact that they are reporting on it, and it's a very long article you can see, right? Like, and if you actually read the thing, it's not dismissive. It's not talking down to the movement. It's just observing it. Which, for a Rupert Murdoch-owned company, I'll take it. But the fact that they are reporting on it shows you that they're threatened by it. The subreddit isn't just a place for people to vent. Posters there are currently organizing Blackout Black Friday, a general strike for retail and hospitality workers that has already gone viral. This raises the question of whether a subreddit can become a broader ideology, and whether the ideology, holy cow, and whether the ideology can then become a legitimate political force aligned with an already resurgent labor movement that often valorizes work. I gotta tell you guys, I'm in a silly mood. Yeah, Murdoch owns way too much of the mainstream media, of course. Like, the monopolization of the mainstream media is grotesque. It's like a huge reason why we're in the shithole that we're in, right? Like, because all they do is report the same stories on the same things, and their perspectives are always the same, and they don't let communists in, right? They don't even let like well-established intellectuals in, right? Like they're not interested in talking to people like Chomsky or Richard Wolff or Chris Hedges or any of these guys. They're not interested in talking to actual leftists. They're not interested in like a perspective that lives outside of their bubble, right? And so what do you end up with? You end up with a system that's inherently incestuous and then fails, right? Its first major real-world coordinated action will be calling on subscribers to abstain from all wage labor and shopping on Black Friday, an action described in depth in a thread calling Anti-Work Mega Thread Blackout Black Friday, where subscribers will have prompted to brainstorm ideas for mutual aid and ways in which the event could be impactful. The mega thread has received 12,000 upvotes. Just the fact that they're talking about it, just the fact that they are aware, shows that sections of the capitalist death cult are beginning to understand how badly they're fucked up, right? Like, things are getting fucked up, and they know it, right? Like, they could just simply not report this. They could just simply, like, because by reporting it, they're blowing it up, right? And now here, like, in response to capitalism specifically, ideas about refusing work developed out of Marxism in the late 1880s. In 1883, Karl Marx's son-in-law, Paul Lafarge, a French-Cuban revolutionary, wrote, "The Right to be Lazy, a critique of socialist ideas about work. Let us be lazy in everything, except in loving and drinking, except in being lazy," the book opens. Lafarge argues against the socialist push to expand or redeem wage labor through public ownership, says we should abolish work altogether. Can you believe this paragraph would have been in a Vice article even 5 years ago? Do you think 5 years ago Vice would have published this and put that in there? Like, they've referenced Marx without demonizing it. They've even referenced a French-Cuban revolutionary without demonizing it. They're really just showing it for what it is, right? Let's look at the Anti-work is the theme of an ongoing and much-needed conversation, but also an impulse that is present on a variety of radical oppositions to the status quo. Daisy, a 29-year-old store clerk in northern Austria, who is also a moderator for Anti-Work, told Motherboard, with negotiation at its core, it doesn't narrow down our options to any political program or blueprint for a future society, she said. Instead, it invites us to be critical of a whole network of norms and institutions that stand in the way of a more joyful society and true self-determination. Wow. Like, that's a really strong article, if you ask me. I didn't even read the whole thing. But, I encourage you to be a bit more skeptical of Vice, though. Because while I see Vice is doing good work internally, like in terms of its internal critique of America, they still very much are a paper of imperialist power. Like the outright like bullshit propaganda pieces that they've published about China, like where they sent like a journalist to China, especially regarding the Uyghur situation, like it's so obviously fraudulent. Like it's like I did a breakdown of one of their propaganda pieces. Like when back in like 2000, Shane, whatever his name is, went to North Korea, right? That they sent him to North Korea. And the whole time that he was in North Korea, the whole pitch was like, look at how weird and wacky this place is. And there was just like no admission that the United States military had leveled this place. The history that they gave was very much like detached from the reality of what America had actually done. And so they revised the history of North Korea and then sent a dude in there to be like, what a wacky, weird place. Like, yeah, your place would be wacky and weird too if it was leveled to rubble literally like 40 years before. Like, like Vice has been culpable in some very shameful reporting, like extremely shameful. Their most shameful stuff surrounds imperialism. And so while I'm happy to see that they are reporting on this without trying to convince me that they're evil or something, I still recommend that people be extremely skeptical of Vice, because they obviously have an imperialist agenda. I just don't think that the empire doesn't know what to do about this shit. It genuinely doesn't. Like, your Nancy Pelosi's and your Joe Biden's and all these guys are like, our idea should have worked. Like, that's really how they do think. That they're like, oh yeah, we stole a bunch of money from people and funneled it up to the top and it's going to trickle down. And like, it should have worked. Fucking didn't. Like, and it's not. And I don't think they know what to do. Oh yeah, they have a shameful past. This is why they're way cool right now, but still use multiple sources. Yeah, use multiple sources. Definitely. And honestly, when it comes to their foreign reporting, don't pay attention to Vice. Like, straight up, just don't. Like, they sent a young lady to China, and the whole time she was just like acting like she was in like a spooky apocalypse movie. Like, it was like really shameful. Like, it was really, really obvious that she was like sent there in order to like find a place where there's barbed wire and then like look at it and be like, oh, the children. Like, yikes. Like, literally, like, hiring actors and shit. Like, just ridiculous bullshit. This is how weak the capitalists are becoming, by the way. Big Bird is a communist? Come on. Like, how weak are you? How weak are you if you are standing up and saying that Big Bird is a communist? I'm a communist, and even I don't really accept that. Right? Like, Big Bird's not a communist. He's a big fucking yellow bird walking around saying, hey, maybe sharing is good. Right? Hey, maybe caring about one another is good. Right? Is that all it is to be a communist to these guys? Big Bird, did Big Bird literally stand up and say, we should transfer the means of production to the working class? Like, is that what Big Bird's talking about? No, obviously not, right? Big Bird's literally walking around just being like, hey, maybe if you've got, too many apples to eat and they're going to go bad, maybe give some of your apples to your friends. Ha-ha! Like, hey, if you're concerned about your neighbors getting sick, maybe put on a mask. Ha-ha! Communism! Like, it's so weak. Like, these capitalists are so weak. Like, they're going after fucking Big Bird. Unbelievable. Yeah, I was talking about that yesterday onward. Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz compares selflessness of Starbucks to that of Holocaust prisoners before Starbucks union vote. No, it wasn't the Holocaust prisoners. It was the Germans in the Holocaust prisons giving blankets to the Holocaust prisoners, is what he was comparing Starbucks to. That Starbucks should be compared to Nazis in Holocaust prisons selflessly giving blankets to the Jews they are incarcerating and then gassing. And I gotta tell you, I worked at Starbucks for 5 years. Seems accurate. Ruth Glasberg won't shop in DC except for necessities. That's my way to say F you, capitalism. Exactly. Like, the only thing they do right is that one guy's drug documentary on psychedelics. Yeah. CNN published secret photos of a Chinese new aircraft carrier. Do you think they would freak out if they arrested Chris Cuomo or Anderson Cooper for espionage? Free Assange. Yeah, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like the Chinese want the Americans to see this shit. Like, there is the one idea of, like, stealth tactic and all that kind of stuff. But, I like, the Chinese have got to be sitting there being like, don't invade us. Like, just please don't do it. Like, look at our new aircraft carrier. Hey, a hypersonic missile. Yeah, a quantum computer that's 100 times faster than your computers. Stealth subs. Like, I just think that they are desperate to convince these Americans, just step off. Like, just step off. Like, that's what I would be doing, dude. Yeah, exactly, Onward. Exactly. Big Bird has always been pro-vax. I mean, I don't know. I feel it's a health and safety issue. Like, the complex nature of, like, corporate power, governmental interference, and public health and safety, vaccination. Like, if Big Bird was coming out and saying, like, we should have nationalized universal health care, then I could see, like, headlines. People would be like, But, like, I don't know, telling kids to follow the advice of nurses and doctors and get vaccinated seems like a real slam dunk to me. Seems well within the wheelhouse of Big Bird. Gotta tell you. Like, well within. Hey kids, don't forget, wash your hands, put on your mask, and when it's time to get vaccinated, don't cry too much. You'll get a lollipop. Ha! Right? Go through the process of having Big Bird get his vaccine, right? Like, it's like, because the purpose isn't to make a political stance. The purpose is to help children get through a difficult time. That's it. That's all Sesame Street's ever been, right? It's not like sure, maybe you can, if you're kooky, you can create like this really odd like the commies and the LBGs and then the SJWs are taking over Sesame Street. No, but Sesame Street's always been like that. It's always been that way, right? It's just that the people who are critiquing Sesame Street think that sharing is communism. That's it. Right? Like, that's how degenerate the society has become. That a large enough group of people can be like, Sesame Street is teaching my kid that if they've got extra of something, they should share it. And that's communism. Like, shut up. Like, shut up. Yeah, he's always promoted safety and welfare. He's always promoted vax. But, like, they just want to spin it, make him something he isn't. Exactly. Well, they want it to be political. They want it to be like this uncovering and be like, NBC is turning communist and making everything, it's all about communism! Instead of literally like, hey, times are tough. Don't you think? We're asking a lot of children these days, don't you think? Like, we're asking a lot of children these days, don't you think? The masks and the hand washing and the vaccines and the medicine and the distancing and all of the rules and all of this kind of stuff. We're asking a lot of our kids, I think. And so having someone like Big Bird, right, a big yellow fucking bird, stand up and try to ease their ease that burden, normalize it a little, convince them that everything's okay, right? Give them a little hug and a little pat on the head and say, isn't it great? Isn't it great to help your neighbors? Like, that's what it's always been. And I got to tell you, I think if you're against that there's something going on here. There's something going on here that you got to think about. Like, really, your central antagonist is a big yellow fucking bird? Elmo is secretly ANCAP, but Grover is a Maoist, for sure. That'd be so hilarious, dude. Like, all of the, do you guys ever see the Cookie Monster comic? I think it's the smartest thing I've ever seen. Cookie Monster comic. Not smartest thing I've ever seen, but like, come on. Cookie Monster comic bombing. Oh, come on. I would think that this is like the first thing that I would see. Come on. So much Cookie Monster. C is for cookie. That's good enough for me. C is for cookie. That's good enough for me. Oh, C is for cookie, and that's good enough for me. Oh, cookie starts with C. This is a panel from it. Oh, come on. You're not going to actually show me like the whole comic? Oh yeah, here we go. This is it. Incidentally, you're welcome for the Cookie Monster song. Things would have been so much better. Cookie Monster wins a presidential election. Oath of office. Talking. Interviewing Putin, right? Meets the Queen. On the phone. Reading to children. Gets the message. Oh my God, it's 9/11. Pounding the pulpit. Cookies flying everywhere. Send in the war jets. Oh, we're going to war against these guys for 9/11. Here come the drone planes. Oh no! They shoot the missiles. Oh God, they blow up. They're cookies. Cookie Monster eats cookies. Everyone eats cookies. Cookies. This final panel is like a stroke of genius, if you ask me. Like, oh, cookies! That's a message I can really get behind. I gotta tell you. That's a message I can really, really get behind. That, like, just solve the world's problems with cookies, man. Everyone's, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Everyone's upset and everyone's mad. Just cookies, man. Just get some cookies in there. You know? Solving the world's problems with the power of cookies. I like it. And my favorite part about it is, like, look how passionate he is. Look at how passionate he is about getting those cookies to those people. Only a cookieless people so upset, says Cookie Monster. Only a people without delicious cookies to feast upon would be so angry as to strike out against us. We will show them the beauty of the cookie. Cookies for all. Cookies! You're welcome for this, by the way. You're welcome. I feel like I've stunned the chat into silence with this one. Yeah, it's just you're basking in the glory and the beauty of it. I went from having to borrow money to making $4 million in a day. How NFTs are shaking up the art world. Fuck NFTs, man. These are so, like, this is like we are going to enter a period of total absurdism. I think that this period of time, like, I think that we actually can create a line. Don't you think? That we can create a line where this new period of total absurdism has officially begun. And I think that line can clearly be set at when Jeff Bezos shot his penis rocket to space. I think that was the moment the absurdity began. And everything that has followed through on it is just getting more and more and more and more totally fucking absurd. That this period of what's being called late stage capitalism, right, or techno-feudalism or any of this stuff, one of the major hallmarks of this appears to be the total fucking stupidity of the culture and the society. These NFTs, right, like your and your Bitcoins and your Dogecoins and all this kind of stuff are taking up enormous amounts of resources to maintain. And they're only getting exponentially worse, right? That the exponential growth of the Bitcoin market or the NFT market is only going to get fucking worse. And it's already taking as much energy as the country of Argentina to power Bitcoin alone, right? And now and what it is, like this is what's so goddamn stupid about this. It's like, it's the equivalent of Pokemon trading cards. That really is what it is. It's the equivalent of Pokemon trading cards, and we're beginning to base our entire economy off of these things. And it's happening because the wealthy don't know what else to spend their money on. And so they're literally spending it on stupid fucking pictures like this, like digital little snapshots, right? Moronic, childish art pieces, right? Like I am gonna read this one fucking out loud. I'm gonna read this one out loud because it's so fucking stupid. Like the whole time, I cannot believe that this is what is happening in the world. Right? Digital art is a billion-dollar business, with everyone from Paris Hilton to Damien Hirst trading in non-fungible tokens. But are NFTs just a get-rich-quick scheme, masquerading as culture? Yes. This is from Rosanna McLaughlin. Hold on, one thing. I'm going to save my pocket. I know what you're after, buddy. I know what you're after. You want me to come over here and snuggle with you? I know. He's a little gremlin, eh? What a little gremlin. One day someone's going to do a compilation of his gremlining. That's what's going to happen. It's just going to be like 15 minutes of him going, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." It's actually a lot simpler than you think. It's a Tuesday afternoon, and somewhat to my surprise, I'm on the phone to Paris Hilton, who is graciously explaining the world of NFTs. Hilton is many things. A reality star, an heiress, an unlikely lockdown fitness guru who uses designer handbags instead of weights. But until now, she has never been considered a significant player in the art world. When artists have acknowledged her, often they've done so to fetishize her image. In 2008, Damien Hirst bought a portrait of her by the artist Jonathan Yeo, in which her body is constructed from collaged images cut from porn magazines. Yet, in the past year, she's become a surreal figurehead in the NFT scene, a world flush with crypto dollars and high on a promise to transform the worlds of art and commerce. When we speak, Hilton has just returned from a Bitcoin conference in Miami, where a customer paid up to $25,000 for VIP tables at the opening party to watch her DJ in a pair of diamante-encrusted headphones. NFT stands for non-fungible token, a digital token that is redeemable for a digital piece of art, she explains. You can have it on your computer server or your phone. I have these screens in my house where I display them. Tax the shit out of these people. Tax the shit out of these people. Sure enough, at Hilton's Beverly Hills mansion, there are screens displaying NFTs she made in collaboration with the digital artist Blake Catherine. These include a video of a chihuahua on top of a rotating iconic column, a tribute to her deceased pet Tinkerbell, and an animated self-portrait of Hilton as a sparkling CGI Barbie, floating in the clouds. A piece she's called Iconic Crypto Queen,
and which she sold in April for more than $1 million. Hilton first started investing in cryptocurrency in 2016. I became friends with the founders of Ethereum, she says. Ethereum produces Ether, the currency in which the majority of NFTs are traded. Since then, she's thrown herself into collecting crypto art and owns more than 150 NFTs. To advocates of the NFT, the technology offers a revolutionary new way of selling art and slaves, and of circumventing snooty cultural gatekeepers whose resistance to a crypto future seems as square as the 19th century partisan art world's disdain for Impressionism. Except they're doing it to trade slaves with one another. Yes, they are. They're doing it to trade slaves with one another. Isn't that fun? In this context, the relevance of Hilton's brand to the NFT movement makes sense. Pink, jewel-encrusted, and openly motivated by being as rich and famous as humanly possible, she's a far cry from the type of person whose work is typically exhibited in blue-chip galleries or hung in booths at art fairs. Yet Hilton's endorsement may also be ammunition for those who view the NFT as just another depressing example of the speculative logic of finance monopolizing taste. To detractors, from critic Waldemar Janisuzek to artist David Hockney, the NFT marketplace is a home for morally bankrupt, environmentally vandalistic money grabbers whose creations barely qualify as art. While most of us are still trying to remember what fungible means, a battle is underway to define how NFTs are understood. Are they a vital cultural product that sells us something profound about digital consumerism? Or are they just the latest cynical way to make absurd amounts of money? It's the second one. A motley crew of celebrities have tried their hand at selling digital art, including Snoop Dogg, Lindsay Lohan, and John Cleese. In July, it was estimated that the sales of NFTs in the first half of 2021 rose by more than $2 billion, a trend that prompted Christie's and Sotheby's to host their own NFT auctions, and that is credited with driving contemporary art sales to an all-time high. There are homeless people. There are people who are homeless on the streets. But only a tiny proportion of the proceeds of art NFTs have ended up in the bank accounts of the galleries that have, in addition to auction houses, traditionally taken the lion's share of art market profits. I did it. In March, the crypto firm Injective Protocol paid $95,000 for Morons, a physical artwork by Banksy depicting an auctioneer selling a framed picture bearing the words, "I can't believe you morons actually buy this shit." They then burned the picture before selling a digital token of the work for $380,000. I've got to reiterate, there are homeless people. The event was a marketing ploy designed to stoke outrage, drum up publicity, and turn a profit, yet the symbolism was potent. Digital art is here to replace its physical forebear, and its coming supremacy should be reflected by a higher price tag. It's supremacy, all right. Good old white supremacy. In essence, an NFT is a digital certificate of ownership, almost always bought and sold using cryptocurrency, to which any digital file, a JPEG image file, a video, a song, can be attached. That Hilton is able to display iconic crypto queen in her home, despite having sold it, is part of the NFT's appeal, and the challenge it poses to the established business model for trading and accessing art. With a simple Google search, anyone can find and download the file associated with an NFT for nothing. It's almost as though this is all a grift and total bullshit, and store it on their phone or computer. But only the owner has the right to sell it. Each NFT is unique, and all transactions are logged on the blockchain, a type of database invented in 2008 for the purpose of recording the movement of cryptocurrency. Oh my god, guys, the genius of writing things down! Unlike the commercial gallery business model, NFTs are designed to cut out the need for art dealers, enabling artists to trade directly online, typically via specialist auction sites. Crucially, in contrast to the contemporary art world, there is no vetting of collectors, a practice intended to stop the most speculative buyers flipping artworks by quickly reselling them as a profit. Anyone can buy an NFT, and prices, so often a thing of mystery in high-end commercial galleries, are listed as a matter of public record. Every time an NFT is resold, its creator also makes a profit, an inbuilt royalty system missing from the physical art world, where artists often feel as they have been shafted when their work is resold on the secondary market. This is money laundering. A model for trading and sharing art, built on the principles of financial transparency, royalties, and easy access for all may sound egalitarian. The reality has been rather different. You don't say. As soon as it became apparent that almost anything digital could be labeled as art and sold, the circus rolled into town. In March, every day's the first 5,000 days, a collage of previous artworks by a 40-year-old American named Mike Winkelmann, better known as Beeple. We live in the real world. This is the real world. Sold for $69.3 million. A guy named Beeple sold $69.3 million at Christie's in New York. There are homeless people. After that, Kate Moss sold a GIF of herself for more than $17,000. Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, sold an image of the first ever tweet for $2.9 million. A Brooklyn film director managed to sell an audio file of his own farts for $85. Dominic Cummings even threatened to use the technology against Boris Johnson by releasing what he said was evidence of government malpractice in the form of an NFT. Blackmailing a high-level official through NFTs. Just so kitschy and clever. Along the way, the market became gratuitously inflated. It was gratuitously inflated by the egos of the people participating. Bidders at the top end included Vignesh Sundaresan, a blockchain entrepreneur who bought Beeple's 69 million NFT. A considerable number of small-time enthusiasts were also buying at the affordable end of the market, keen to celebrate the technology by investing in blockchain art. It didn't take long before the bubble burst. Oh no, the rich people! By May, daily sales of NFTs had dropped by 60%. Crypto art's reputation had also taken a knock because of its awful environmental track record. The annual energy consumption of Ethereum is estimated to equal that of Iceland. We're in a climate catastrophe. Towns are burning down. Fuck these people. Everything bad that happens to them, I celebrate as a victory for humanity. Despite this, advocates still believe NFTs can mount a challenge to the monopoly on trading art held by commercial galleries, and even create a future where physical artworks are replaced by their digital counterparts. As Hilton puts it, there are paintings out there that are 100 million or more. But if you think about it, it's really just canvas with paint. Insightful. In the beginning, before the circus pitched up, there were nerds. Inevitably, because this is the internet, there were also cats. Even the article thinks that this is a fucking farce. Crypto Kitties, to be precise, is an online game launched in 2017, enabling players to trade and breed unique cartoon felines, sold as NFTs, using blockchain technology. Although the first NFT was created by a man named Kevin McCoy in 2014, Crypto Kitties attracted attention and money, with some cats trading for hundreds of thousands of dollars. During 2020, as cryptocurrencies boomed and the pandemic accelerated, our transformation into a species of screen-obsessed zombies interested in NFTs rapidly picked up pace. As a consequence, the value of work by a relatively small number of artists already on the scene rocketed. Among them was Trevor Jones, a 51-year-old painter who lives in Edinburgh.
If you've probably never heard of Jones, but he's the most successful NFT artist working in the UK. He started making NFTs in 2019. 5 years ago, I was struggling to pay the mortgage, he tells me. I went from having to borrow money from friends to pay the bills to make $4 million in a day. Jones has made a name for himself combining paintings with digital technology, often producing pastiches of famous artworks with a crypto twist. In 2020, Bitcoin Bull, an animated painting of a Picasso-inspired bull, decorated with Bitcoin logos and Twitter birds, was bought by a prominent crypto collector named Pablo Rodriguez Fraile for $55,555.55. Look, it's finger paint. Look, $55,000. He took his finger and he went like this. Paint, paint, And again, it's got to be reiterated. There are homeless people. Jones is warm, unguarded, and stunned by his rapid ascent. I grew up in a little logging community, he says of his childhood in Western Canada, a place he describes as rough. When I was 25, a friend of mine ended up getting in a fight at a bar and was killed. He left soon after, eventually settling in Edinburgh, where he worked at the city's Hard Rock Cafe as a waiter and later manager. So he's actually Canadian. I've given him a voice. And too bad, that's his voice. Jones tells me about the mental health crisis he suffered in his early 30s. My girlfriend and I woke up and it kind of all came crashing down. At that point, it sounds cliched, but I decided I needed to find something to save me. Swindling rich people out of money through finger painting sounded correct. He set his heart on becoming an artist and begged his way into an art foundation course at Leith School of Art, which he followed with a degree at the University of Edinburgh. Well, now I feel bad that I made fun of him. Things began to look up for Jones in 2012 when he had the idea of incorporating QR codes into his art, painting the scannable barcodes in Mondrian-like colors on canvas. Scanning the paintings takes viewers through to an online gallery where anyone can upload their work. People were laughing at me at the time, he said, while gallery audiences turned their noses up. He gained a new following online, one that would turn out to have deep pockets. In 2009, Jones began working with animators to turn his paintings into short videos that he sold as NFTs. Among his most successful works is Bitcoin Angel, an NFT based on Bernini's Baroque masterpiece, The Ecstasy of Saint Teresa, which he sold in 2020 for the equivalent of more than $3 million. All of Jones's NFTs are bought using cryptocurrency. In Bernini's marble sculpture, a nun has been stabbed in the heart by an angel with a spear. She leans backwards, overcome by the sublime ecstasy of being penetrated by a heavenly body. When the arrow pierces her heart of the Joneses' nun, she bleeds Bitcoin. To sell Bitcoin Angel, Jones used a website called Nifty Gateway, one of a number of online auction sites designed for trading NFTs that are now flooded with aspiring crypto artists. I dedicated an afternoon to scrolling through the lots, each one flashing and jiggling in the hope of attracting the attention of collectors. I saw gifs of muffins transforming into dogs, spinning trainers, sycophantic portraits of Elon Musk, and an abundance of naked, big-boobed cyborgs. Thank God it's still the internet. The art critic Dean Kissick described the male-dominated NFT scene as Etsy for guys. And on this evidence, it's easy to see why. Aside from the headline-grabbing sales, Nifty Gateway provides a platform for aspirational entrepreneurs and hobbyists who practice their craft on computers rather than knotting macrame plant hangers. Is this a fucking ad for this shit? Are they like, wow, I gotta get to Nifty Gateway. Nifty Gateway's where I gotta be. It's where all the kids are. While those like Jones who successfully rode the NFT wave were busy counting their crypto dollars, over the past year, the conventional art world has suffered a decline. Oh no! During the pandemic, with audiences unable to physically attend exhibitions and fairs, art dealers have struggled to make online viewing rooms interesting or lucrative. As a consequence, global sales of art fell by 22%. Who cares? There are poor people. Fuck you.
To rub salt in that wound, millions of crypto dollars were exchanging hands for a natively digital art form. The technology is designed against the existing art world, says, oh, he's a different person. The technology is designed against the existing art world, says Noah Davis, a specialist at Christie's New York. It's an art form that doesn't need a gallery. It was Davis who helped to sell the Beeple's 69 Nice NFT, the first piece of crypto art ever listed by a major auction house. He views his own impact as pivotal. I introduced NFTs to the Christie audience members, and they're by the world, he says. The artwork was sold during an online auction in March that took 2 weeks to close. Bidding opened at $100, and within an hour, that figure had risen to $1 million. The result of a vast number of bids, all happening digitally. I've never seen anything so spectacular. You can't bid that quickly at auction unless you just shut out $1 million, Davis said, and that's impossible to do online. So all that bidding had to happen in increments manually. I look at my life as pre-Beeple and post-Beeple, he adds, the same way the world thinks about before Jesus Christ and after. Beeple is kind of my Jesus. I cannot believe these are real people. I cannot believe that this is an actual thing what I'm reading. This reads like a Dadaist manuscript. It's like a parody. It's like what I would write as a joke in like a fucking Rick and Morty cartoon. I cannot believe that this is real. In the months since, Christie's has continued to cash in on NFTs. In May, it achieved $16.9 million for 9 pixelated cartoon characters from the CryptoPunks series, early examples of NFT art that have become sought-after collectibles. Christie's also has attempted to unite the crypto and modern art markets. This spring, it hosted a sale of digital artworks made by Andy Warhol in the 1980s. The images, which had been recovered from floppy disk and transformed into NFTs, include drawings made on the artist's Commodore Amiga computer of bananas, flowers, and of a Campbell's soup can that alone sold for more than $1 million. So they literally took just pictures, scanned them into the computer, and were just like, oh, look, yeah, Andy Warhol, yeah, he was way ahead, yeah. This is a real thing that actually happened, yeah. Fucking, we cannot be this stupid. You know what? Yes, we can. What am I talking about? Of course we can be this stupid. In general, the commercial gallery world has been understandably cagey about adopting technology designed to circumvent it. Behind the scenes, however, a number of galleries have attempted to woo Jones. He has declined their advances. What can a commercial gallery do for me? He asks. Oh wait, this is Jones. What can a commercial gallery do for me? He asks. Having a gallery exhibition before, I worked a year creating paintings. I paid for all the framing, the overheads in the studio. I had the paintings delivered to the commercial gallery. I may or may not sell. The gallery takes 45 to 55% commission. And they might pay out a month, 6 weeks, 2 months later. And now, I sell something and 3 minutes later I've got the money in my digital wallet. At times, the divide between the two art worlds seems more profound than a difference in business model. It's an all-out culture clash. Again, there are homeless people. Few of these cyber millionaires would tell the back of a Rembrandt from the front, wrote art critic Waldemar. Oh, hold on, new person. Few of these cyber millionaires could tell the back of a Rembrandt from the front, wrote art critic Waldemar Janisazic. I think I nailed the voice. There's no challenge whatsoever in NFT art. Oh, that's a new guy too. Forget it. Conceptual art collector Pedro Barbosa told the New York Times, arguing that the ideas behind NFTs are often derivative, having already been exploited by artists like Joseph Albers, Nasser Bradley and Marcel Duchamp. David Hockney branded NFTs, silly little things, for crooks and swindlers, a curious accusation from an artist happy to embrace and monetize novel digital technology. Since 2009, Hockney has been a roaring trade in souped-up iPhones and iPad drawings. It's just so stupid. It's just so fucking stupid. And they're framing it as this like old world versus new world instead of framing it like the apocalypse versus literal poverty and homelessness. Like this article itself is a work of Dadaist perfection. Jones tell me that the crypto faithful, who, like Hilton, ardently believe that NFTs are the future of art, now use the dusty epithet, the legacy art world, to refer to their physical rivals. It's so fucking pretentious. As a painter, Jones is unusual among NFT artists. On occasion, this has allowed him the opportunity to sell the original painting on which an NFT is based, as well as the NFT. Pulling off this kind of double sale, however, must be handled carefully. Charging more for a painting than an NFT, and thus valuing physical art more highly than digital art, could provoke the ire of the crypto crowd. When Jones sold Bitcoin Bull to Rodriguez Fraile, he also sold the original painting to the second place bidder. In order to not offend his fans, he priced the painting at $55,555.55 less than the NFT. Oh, thank God. I know I was deeply concerned about this. A handful of established contemporary artists, notably those who have form when it comes to explicitly courting headlines and extreme wealth, have tried their hand at making NFTs. Most prominently, Damien Hirst, who released the project The Currency in July. Hirst put 10,000 NFTs up for sale, each corresponding to a unique spot painting for $2,000 apiece. But there's a catch. After 2 months, the collector must decide if they wish to keep the NFT or the physical artwork. Whichever one they don't choose will be destroyed, forcing the owner to gamble on which version will be more valuable in the future. Like, this is just, it is a gamble. Like, it's just gambling. It's just a ridiculous way for rich people to fucking gamble. Like, this, can it get dumber? Let's find out. The most shocking aspect of the NFT to the art intelligentsia is its brazen entanglement with finance. Trading art has always been a pastime of the wealthy. Much of what counts for art history consists of flattering portrayals of the rich and powerful, and artists have long been expected to perform what Tom Wolfe called the art mating ritual, attracting the interest of wealthy patrons and conservative institutions while simultaneously presenting as bohemians and renegades. Yet with the NFT, the distinction between art and asset seems to have disappeared. Oh no. In place of the curated exhibition is the auction website. Symbols of the market have seeped into the aesthetic language of the art itself. Prices, not ideas, dominate. Despite the promise of art for everyone except the poor, the final destination of the NFT might not actually be art. Art may simply be a useful way to advertise the possibilities of a new technology. I've done everything from fashion fragrances to endorsements, Paris Hilton said, adding that NFTs are another way for fans to have a piece of me, as well as working with the rapper Ice Cube. Jones recently made an NFT for the whiskey company Macallan to be auctioned alongside a very expensive cask of scotch. This, it seems, is a taste of where NFTs may be heading. Not a radical new model for trading art, but a digital marketing bauble. Perhaps the most significant legacy of NFT's assault on the art market will be the questions it forces us to ask about the nature of art and what it is we want from it. How should art be traded and viewed? Who gets to ascribe value to art? Is there a moral or aesthetic code by which artists are expected to work? And who has elected themselves to define it? And why would anyone part with their money in exchange for a digital fart? Then there's the biggest question. Is there a meaningful difference between an artwork and an asset? The answer perhaps is not always, but if we want art to be more than a tool for prettifying finance and flogging merch, then it's an ideal worth holding onto. Fuck this whole fucking thing. Fuck you, Rosanna McLaughlin, fuck you, The Guardian, fuck you, Paris Hilton, fuck these NFTs, fuck Jones, fuck all of you. Every single person involved in this fucking ridiculous process, should be absolutely ramrodded and fucked. Get fucked. Each and fucking every one of you. Oh my God. How are you going to pay for that? How are you going to pay for that? Oh, you want people to not starve on the streets and not be homeless? How are you going to pay for that? Please like, share, and subscribe my video. If you've made it to this point, maybe think about donating some money to me. If you're going to buy worthless bullshit like pictures on a screen from Paris Hilton, maybe you could give me $1 instead. Good luck. We're gonna need it. Ridiculous. Holy shit, did that piss me off. Holy shit, did that all fucking piss me off. Wow. 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 Tax these people. Like, tax these people forever. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is embarrassing. It's shocking. It's staggering to me that the position of this author isn't this grotesque and disgusting. Shouldn't we round these people up and take all of their shit from them and tell them to grow up and stop being children? Like, this NFT shit is child's shit. It's children's shit. They're collecting Pokemon cards. Oh yeah, and my favorite. Gotta go track down my old floppy disks, right? My favorite is like, that was Andy Warhol for sure. Yeah, Andy Warhol had some pictures on floppy disk, guys. Look, I found a floppy disk that had some old Andrew. Look, it's real. Yeah, it's real. Andy Warhol, he uploaded these onto this floppy disk all by himself. For real. That's true. Yeah. Fuck. Burn yourself out for dollar bills. Kill your children for a few cheap thrills. You got a problem? Well, that's too bad. You're too tired to see you've been had, and work or starve while we drop bombs. No such thing as right or wrong. We'll call you lazy while you work to death. You gotta earn a moment of rest, and I won't work for a psychopath nation. No, I won't work for a psychopath nation. Burn those corpses so you can speed. Buy that garbage you don't need. Play the victim while you lose your grip. Why won't they work in the apocalypse and retreat into your stupid lies? Act confused while your children cry. You promise change but act the same. Gaslight, deflect, and take no blame. And I won't work for a psychopath nation. Yeah, I won't work for a psychopath nation. We collapse in the devil's lap, and as we watch the world burn to ash, you'll whine like bitches on your way to the grave. Why won't those serfs just behave? You fucking vampires, demons, and ghouls. We're bun with the curse is lifted, we're free from your spell. Keep on crying while you burn in hell, 'cause we won't work for a psychopath nation. No, we won't work for a psychopath nation. No, we won't work for a psychopath nation. Fuck, right? Fuck. How could Libya pay for that? I showed someone the Michael Parenti 16 things Libya won't see again. How could Libya pay for that? By doing it. Like, I'm recording this and selling it as an NFT? Brilliant. Let's go. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like, fucking for real. There's literally homeless people. This place is bubbling over. Your money you can keep. I'd rather while away my days dying in the street than spend another moment sucking up to you. You can take this job, put it in your ass, and this is what you'll do. Get fucked. I didn't want this goddamn job anyway. Get fucked. Get fucked. You fucked around and found out, go away. Just go and get a job that doesn't pay the rent. Go get an education and drown in all your debt. The billionaires don't give a damn how hard they're screwing you. So let's all send a message and tell them what to do. Get fucked. Get fucked. I didn't want this goddamn job anyway. Get fucked. Get fucked. Yeah. You fucked around and found out, go away. We're all in this together so long as you do all the work. Slave away your better days working for some jerk. This deal ain't no kind of life, makes me wanna scream. Let's round these motherfuckers up and get those guillotines. Get fucked. Get fucked. I didn't want this goddamn job anyway. Get fucked. Get fucked. You fucked around and found out, go away. Yeah, you fucked around and found out, go away. That's right, Milo. You tell him. You tell him. Like, yikes. To answer your question more directly, by the way, Major, how could Libya pay for that? It's because they took their money, right? They took the money that they got from selling their oil, and instead of giving it to billionaires who offshored it, right, they actually used it to help the populace. And what this did is it increased the quality of life for everyone and then stimulated their local economy, thereby creating more taxation and allowing them to create a cycle of building, which is how a society actually works, right? Instead of taking the money and just offshoring it and telling everybody to get fucked, which is what we do. The how you gonna pay for it crowd are delusional losers who don't understand a single thing about what's going on. Full stop, period. How are you gonna pay for that? What the fuck are you talking about? Money's not real. You can just pay for things and then tax away dead inert wealth. Like, it's time for us to grow up. Like, it's just time for us to grow up. Like, instead, we're letting, like, fucking children trade, like, digital Pokemon cards for millions of dollars. We are so fucking stupid. And as if that's not bad enough, these digital Pokemon cards take energy to maintain. As much energy as the country of Iceland, in this particular case. We're fucking stupid. We're fucking stupid. We're so fucking stupid. Like, stop this. Stop this madness. Holy fuck, dude. Like, holy fuck. I'm so fucking mad about this. I cannot even begin to tell you how mad I am. Have I told you guys that I'm mad? Have I told you guys that I'm mad? Yeah, I'm gonna go eat some chili, get my microphone out. Exactly. Sell those farts, dude. $85 a fart. Come on, digital farts. It's the new hotness. It's the new currency, right? Did you guys hear? Like, that's literally what we're doing. We're transitioning oil into farts. That's all this is. It's just transitioning fossil fuels into farts. That's what's happening. Shoot a rich man into space. Gotta get ahead of the human race. And we're the lazy ones working at the end of your nukes and your guns. And we don't even care. Bring on the doom. Line up this apocalypse. We'll be going soon. ones wander forever in the burning sun, and 10 times worse the fate for us. Forget him, worship the dust, and we don't even care. We don't even care. Bring on the doom. Light up this apocalypse. We'll be going soon. Baptize us with rising tides. Never let us see what hides inside, and cover our sins with dollar signs. The fire will burn away our pride, and we don't even care. Bring on the doom. Light up this apocalypse. We'll be going soon. You could have done anything at all. You could have done anything at all. You could have done anything, and you chose this. We don't even care. Bring on the doom. Light up this apocalypse. We'll be going soon. We don't even care. Bring on the doom. Light up this apocalypse. We'll be going soon. Yeah, we'll be going soon. Just fuck these guys. Fuck these guys. Oh, like literally, like take this pen, drive it into my temple, and just like, oh. Oh man, I want to be lobotomized. I want to be lobotomized now. I just want to forget L. I just want to be like, hey Georgie, how you doing? Like, fuck this stupid fucking shit. And it's gonna get so much stupider. It's gonna get so much fucking stupider. Right? We've just begun this stupid bullshit. We've just begun. Oh. Ugh. Well, you see, Libya has less people than the United States of America. Well, there's that too. Music. Bread. Hey, Loaf, how you doing, bud? Sold a package of lies, spun their stories and promised the skies. Now they're robbing us in front of our eyes. They get off watching your children die, and the ghouls who claim to run this place, they don't know wrong from right. They're trying to kill the human race. I won't go down without a fight. Raise the banners, take up the cause. Suicidal nations don't have any laws. Lift up your heads, pull out your claws. Watch what happens when your apathy thaws, 'cause the ghouls who claim to run this place, they don't know wrong from right. They're trying to kill the human race. I won't go down without a fight. These fascists, break all their bones. Take everything away, don't leave them alone. Bury them beneath a mountain of stone. They're evil, we won't forgive or condone. And the ghouls who claim to run this place, they don't know wrong from right. They're trying to kill the human race. I won't go down without a fight. Won't go down without a fight. Whoa! Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck these guys. Fuck every single one of these fucking guys! Fuck this! Fuck this! Holy fucking shit. Fuck this shit. I cannot fucking believe it. Like, I cannot fucking believe it. We managed to actually make art more pretentious and dangerous. That's how fucking stupid this is. We managed to take art, which was always just money laundering for rich people, collecting Pokemon cards, and then we found a way to make it part of the climate catastrophe. Unbelievable we're this fucking stupid. These people are evil. They need to be stopped and incarcerated for their crimes against humanity. It's obvious. Jesus Christ. I recommend Stokely Carmichael at the University of Georgia, 1979. I mean, I'm in with the name Stokely Carmichael, dude. Stokely Carmichael, University of Georgia, 1979. Oh, yeah, Stokely Carmichael. That's not his... Kwame Ture? Is that him? Fuck these guys, man. I think I actually listened to this already. Yeah, it's Kwame Ture. I think I might have listened to this one. Fuck. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know if I want to sing another one. Do I? That's... You know what? I'm going to sing this one just to come down. Ugh. I asked her kindly put down the gun. You don't need to hurt anyone, she said. The world's too hot, the people are too cold. I'm not gonna bother getting old. Work turns to bombs, my life's a lie. No one will notice if another girl dies, and it doesn't need to be this way. 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 Christ collapses in an olive grove. Prays with blood to God above. Please, my Father, find another way. Please don't take my life away. The humans know not what they do, and must I die before they see the truth? And it doesn't need to be this way. 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 The sun burns us from the earth. Cares less than God what you're worth. Cling to delusions while your children die. We won't answer you when you cry. God forgive us for what we've done, but we'll curse you when you're gone. Doesn't need to be this way. Doesn't need to be this way. Doesn't need to be this way. Doesn't need to be this way.
I'm glad you like that one, Major. I'm glad that you like that one, bud. I wasn't sold on it, and then you started talking about it, and then I've turned the corner on that one. And what I think is really interesting about that one, for just personally for me, is that it's still settling in. Right? So, some songs have settled in already. They're there. This one's still gonna go in deeper. It's still settling in. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay. I think that's that. I am me. Well, and so am I. Easy, Marty. It potentially makes it possible to make art last indefinitely. Of course, we only have like 30 years left, so yeah. Well, have a good one, Onward. I probably missed you. Hope you're doing well, bud. Oh. Thus ends the musical interlude. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe. Give me money. $1 helps even. My Bandcamp in the description. Capitalism, money, all the things that I hate and despise, but am forced to interact with. So these songs you perform, is this your own music? It is. Thank you for asking. I Am Me. You can find them on, not all of them yet. I'm still getting them recorded, but you can find 5 of them on the Bandcamp link in the description. And if you become a $5 Patreon, I will just give you the files. And you also get into my Discord. So please consider donating. Please consider buying my music. Please, because I'm awesome, and the world is on fire, and we should cry about it and fight back and fuck these guys with their stupid bullshit. With their stupid, goddamned bullshit. There isn't one thing that is redeemable about this society. There's not one single goddamn thing that is redeemable about this society. Burn this shit down. Fuck this fucking goddamn fucking just. And I'm going to have to listen to it again because I'm going to clip it. Oh, it's so fucking absurd. It's so fucking absurd. Okay. Oh, woof, 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 woof. Ugh. Okay, I'm back. I'm here. So let's move on. Renting, smooth... No, you know what? I can't do that one. It's so fucking stupid. Renting, smooth sailing, or jumping ship. What the fuck do you think? You fucking morons. Okay. What are Canadians thinking before the new federal government is sworn in? This is a bit old, but it's from Abacus data. It's still a good... it's still relevant. Direction of the country. Right direction. Wrong track. So about equal. Canadians with people in the middle, how much is that? That's 80. So 84% are either right track, wrong track, with the rest being in the middle, being like, I don't know, right? This actually puts us out of step with the world. 29% only saying right direction, 51% saying wrong direction. The USA, 26% saying right direction, 55% saying wrong track. This indicates to me that 15% of the populace is completely, totally fucking delusional. Completely fucking totally delusional. 15% of our society, right? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's 29% in the world and 26% in the world who are like, yeah, we're going in the right direction. I think this descent into fascism is good. Right? Like, yikes. So it either means that we have like, we have an extremely, like a much larger group of fascists than we thought, which I actually think is pretty likely. Like, given that our military is collaborating with Nazi groups, that we're arming and training Nazi groups in Ukraine, it's probably likely that we are actually farther to the right than we thought. Right? That fascist solutions are actually popular here in Canada. This, of course, you can see, interestingly, has a lot of flux on it, right? Generally speaking, do you think we are heading in the right direction? The big dip down here, and then like a big ascension back, and then kind of a dip back down. So people are like, it looks to me like the people who are saying we're heading in the right direction are like, yeah, we're heading in the right direction, aren't we, guys? Yeah, guys, we're heading in the right direction, aren't we? Oh, God, we're going, no, we're going in the right direction. Like, I think that they're fucking fooling themselves. They're fucking fooling themselves. The U.S. is fascist since 2008. Yeah, I mean, like, the U.S. is on a pretty significant decline. Like, and with no hope in sight. Like, government approval, we're basically split. 42%, 43% approve versus disapprove. So it's essentially equal. So what this indicates is that we are heavily polarized. That there is a group of people who approve of what the government is doing, 42% of the populace. So dimwits, dullards, fascists, and the detached and disconnected, versus the 42% who disapprove because they understand they're being abandoned. Right? Like, straight up. Policy priorities for the new parliament. This is actually interesting. Now, you'll note that they don't even put like a basic income on here. Like, so they're manufacturing consent. How you doing, bud? Diaphilis Actanus. Arctantus? Boy, the day I had. Do tell, bud. Improving the healthcare system is the top priority, right? Like, which makes sense. We just went through a pandemic. I can't really blame people for being like, yeah, maybe we should look at the healthcare system. What do you think? The healthcare system seems to need nothing. And this could include the LTC, the long-term care home system, right? Which, in my view, is an abomination, what we're doing. Like, just an outright disastrous abomination so that guys like Mike Harris and Doug Ford can exploit your family for money for themselves. Let's just say I can finally get my income assistance again. Oh, dude, are you okay? Like, did you get hurt? You got to tell the story now, bud. What happened? Is Trudeau a Democrat or a Republican? I mean, so which far right are you interested in? He would be a Democrat. Like, he's just a corporate. I'm sad, John. No one wants to convert. Yeah, you can't get your hopes up on that level, dude. You can't get to like, I'm going to convert people to my way of thinking. Like, the best at this stage of the game, it's more about influencing, right? It's more about, like, you will either find people who already think the way you think, or you will stick in the craw of other people. And sticking in their craw is the best thing you can hope for. Right? And then years down the road, you might run into that person again and they'll tell you about that and how you stuck in their craw and how you kind of changed their perspective. That's what actually happens. Right? Don't set your expectation there. Don't set your expectation at like, and then somebody will be like, I'll become a communist. Right? Because that's just not what's going to happen. And you're just setting yourself up to be disappointed. So really set your expectation at like finding your allies and sticking in the craw of your enemies. And you're going to meet a lot more enemies than allies. Like, getting more people vaccinated and getting life back to normal. So 42% of the populace are living in this like delusional dream world where they actually believe that if we get everybody vaccinated, life will just go back to normal. Right? Yikes. Big yikes. Big yikes. This is a delusional dream world. Finding ways to reduce the cost of living, 40%. I mean, that's at least, like, one could assume that would include things like a basic income or like rent control or those sorts of things. But it's so nebulous and also misspelt. Fitting ways. Fuck you, Abacus. Found a spelling mistake, Abacus. Your entire industry is a fraud. But 40% of people are saying finding ways to reduce the cost of living, but that's below getting life back to normal, whatever that is. He would be a demo. Okay, I have 200 hours. My boss don't give a so I had to wait 2 months to show the ministry. I'm indeed not working, because who trusts the poor? Ha ha ha, yeah. Super yikes, for sure, dude. Just like, but I'm glad that you're getting your support, dude. I'm glad that that's happening because everybody should have support. Everybody. Literally everybody should just have support. You should have food, you should have shelter. I don't understand why that's controversial, right? And the people who stand up and are like, but I look at them and I go, fuck you. I don't care about your stupid fucking butt. I don't care about your however or any of that shit. That's some fucking bullshit as far as I'm concerned. Fuck you. Fuck you to death. But no. Go fuck yourself. Go read your Bible, right? Go find your moral center. Go, if you've got one, go find the core of who you are. People deserve food and shelter. Should be a given. It's total fucking bullshit that it's not. And like look at this. Like, improving the healthcare system and getting back to normal is more important to everybody than dealing with climate change. Like, I have a friend in Louisiana, United States, who believes Elon Musk will save us all and attempted to join the U.S. military and Atomwaffen division. Boy. That sentence you just wrote there, dude, just got worse by the word. Like, I have a friend. Oh, that's nice. In Louisiana. Okay, United States, okay. Who believes Elon Musk will save us all and attempted to join the U.S. military. An Atomwaffen division? Oh, are you sure he's your friend? Are you sure you want him as a friend? Elon Musk will save us all. What's so funny about that statement, that Elon Musk will save us all, is that he has explicitly stated that he will not. That his goal is to let him and a small group of humans escape Earth and flee to Mars. That's not a rescue mission. That's an escape plan. Yeah, Musk entered the chat. Trigger alert. You got me, grieving. You got me. I'm done. You got me grinning. No, it's okay. Fucking Musk. Like, Elon Musk doesn't piss me off as much as his fanboys do. His fanboys are the ones that really kill me. And yeah, I feel bad for him too, dude. Because that's a retreat into escapism. That's a retreat into fanciful, magical thinking. Right? It's like the same... It's the same thinking as like Jesus Christ is going to come back, right? Like it's exactly the same. It's just detached and delusional and like hoping and wishing on a dream that things will get better, even though you're not really doing anything to improve anything. He's going to sell stock to avoid paying taxes on it. Yeah, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. Some of my comments not making it through again. Can't imagine being filtered out by YouTube. Real weird. Well, Loaf, also, I put a slow mode on. Just be aware of that. Outside of that, I had to put a slow mode on because just because of the spammers. And boy, am I glad that I did. I'm super glad that I put slow mode on. Because, like, when a spammer comes in, they just get, like, 1 and then maybe 2, and by then they're gone. Like, it just makes it so much less disruptive. I thought Billy Blop was the new Jesus. Oh, what was his stupid fucking name? It was like Bebop or something. It wasn't Bebop. Beeple. Fuck you, Beeple. I hope a lightning bolt hits you. I fuck you. I don't care. He could be the nicest person. I don't know. Fuck him. Unbelievable. If we don't go to war with China, it's up to the oligarchy to economically fight China because the rest of us don't have the wealth. No, it's over, right? It's just over, right? Like, we can't actually go to war with China. Like, we don't have the military capability to actually win that war, right? It is mutually assured destruction. And the Chinese are coming out with, like, hypersonic missiles and quantum computers and shit. Like, we're not going to war with them. That's not going to happen. Like, we might do, like, proxy wars, as you say. But, like, the reality is that the corporate oligarchs are just going to keep using their money in China. They're not going to fight China. They're just going to use the wealth that we gave them to make more money for themselves using China while they abandon us.
right? That we will just be cut off from the project of prosperity while they use their wealth in order to increase their hoard pile. Like, that's what's actually going to happen. Like, we are going to become a backwater. Like, we will be abandoned. Our infrastructure will crumble. Our social systems will be assaulted and ultimately dismantled. Like, this is the course for us. We're not going to go to war with China, right? Because there's nothing to be gained there, right? It's better to instead just abandon us and work with China, which is exactly what they're going to do, right? That, like, a guy like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, the only reason they still invest in America at all is because they're subsidized by us. Like, they don't give a fuck about us. They're going to extract the wealth they can from us and move to Richistan. And if it gets to the point where we can't pay them anymore, they'll just move on. That's it. That's it. And if they're smart, they'll just buy up a ton of assets, have a bunch of land, so that if the currency, buy up some of these fucking NFTs, right? Fucking unbelievable. Yeah, they're about to break through with fusion, yeah, because he pretends to be nice, yeah. Meanwhile, in the US, since money is the goal, that's where the focus will go, yeah. Capitalism is a national security liability. For sure it is, dude. Weird, when I split it into 3 messages, it got through, but 1 message, it got filtered out. I don't know, dude. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Trudeau saying he's a Democrat because he pretends to be nice. Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right, dude. Like, it's the same as, like, being a conservative. You just got a little pride flag that you fly around. Hi, DM. How you doing, bud? Hi, John. Hi, everyone. Breaking news. Justin Bieber is teaming up with Timmy's to release a new product called Bieber Bits. Good for Bieber, good for Tims, and good for Doggy Boy. Yeah. You mean Gulch Gulch in Chile? What about Gulch Gulch in Chile? Gulch Gulch. Chile. How a libertarian paradise in Chile fell apart. Oh, big fucking shock. Right? Like, oh, wow, you're telling me that almost all of the buyers and investors into GGC, 73 families paid out in over 10 million, are libertarian, and as such they have been attacked publicly as rich, greedy misanthropes who were so hopelessly naive as to think they were escaping the government by moving to Chile. Being libertarians, many of GGC's investors were against the use of government courts to correct the injustices and receive the property they paid for. But what they found was that there simply was no other way to regain their stolen property without doing so. Jeff Berwick, realizing why government exists for the first time. Oh, I'm just waiting for. I don't really care to watch the Rittenhouse trial. I want to see the end. I want to see what the end of it looks like. That in the end, that is all that matters to me. Like, Rittenhouse killed someone, and he brought a weapon with the intention of opening fire. Right? He should be charged with first-degree murder. Like, at least second-degree murder. Like, he brought a weapon to a protest with the intent of using it. It's very, very clear. And if he doesn't spend, if he doesn't at least get sentenced with 10 years, then 2 people. Yeah, even worse, obviously. Twice as worse, in fact. Like, you should watch the state cross-examine. It's money-worthy. You know what, bud? If you say so. If you say so. Let me see if I can just find that. Kyle Rittenhouse cross-examination.
And
3 hours, dude. 3 hours. 3 hours. Oh my god. The walk around video you made today was great, John. One of the best. Thanks, DM. Thank you, bud. I'm actually finding for myself that I'm struggling to get back into the rhythm of that, but I feel like it's just a matter of doing it. And I do think I think I just need to trust in the format. You know, I think that's what it is. That
I think people respond really well to the walking videos. That it grounds it somehow. And the fact that I'm walking around in a graveyard, right? There's something grounding about those videos that I'm happy that you encouraged me to do them again, because they I don't do them every single day, because sometimes I do something on the live stream that I think I want to show, like I've done tonight. I did something tonight that I think I want to show, but there's something truly genuine about the walk around videos, and I think that's what people are really responding to. Don't like the kid, and I think charges are probably warranted, and the testimony that came out showed that the people he shot pulled guns first. But the testimony that came out showed that the people he shot pulled guns first? That's news to me. That's super news to me. I was always under the impression that it was like a kid with a skateboard, right? Like it was just a kid with a skateboard and like someone else. Like, and I don't know, like the guy was walking around with like a fucking assault rifle. Like, yeah, if I had a gun on me and I saw a guy walking around probably waving it at people, right, doing all that kind of shit, yeah, I'd get a gun in my hand if I had one. Like, yeah, I feel like defending myself is probably fine. Like, there's no way that this kid does, like, if this kid walks, it's going to be like national protests. Like, it's going to be like lighting a tinderbox. There's just no way. The kid brought an assault rifle to a protest and opened fire. Like, no. And if he walks, it's going to empower the white supremacists in America in a way like you've never seen before. Like, it's going to be pretty incredible. Just wait until the right wing uses it and like finds the slogan, right? Rittenhouse walked, not in this Rittenhouse, right? Knocking the roof off this Rittenhouse. How many more can I do? They're going to come up with something that's going to use Rittenhouse, and it's going to be really racist and an objective threat. It's going to be a complete threat to black people, probably black people specifically. Right? It'll be like not in this Rittenhouse, and it'll be like a communist and like a Martin Luther King looking guy, and like Rittenhouse shooting them. The state's last claim was basically, you came to protect yourself from mostly unarmed people and caught him in a loop. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's easy to do that kind of shit to a kid like him, right? Like, how old is this kid? Like, Kyle Rittenhouse, age. Like, fucking 17. Like, this kid is, like, caught in, like, what's surrounding him? Like, what environment does he live in that convinces him that doing this was a good idea at any point? It's a Rittenhouse. It's guilty, letting it all shoot out. Ow! Yeah, you got it, bud. That's a good one. I think I'll move to a forest in Russia near the China border soon. Oh yeah, dude. Let's all just move out to a commune. What do you think? Funny, the video aired showing him actually doing what he did and how the cops reacted to him is far from anything close to them pulling guns on him. Yeah. Can I come? Can it be a co-op? Yeah. Let's go. Let's buy some cheap land out in the middle of fucking nowhere, Stan, right? I think about that all the time, actually. The only thing that's really preventing me from pursuing that is that I want to be in Toronto. I want to be in Toronto, and I want to be getting to the... I want to see this shit explode. I really do. I want shit to explode. Well, sorry. I don't want shit to explode. I just expect shit to explode. And I would like to be here when it explodes. I would like to see it. I would like to show it. I would like to talk about it. I would like the world to know about it. Yeah, commune would be great, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Canada has rules for this. There are communes all throughout Manitoba.
right? There's when the Ukrainian people came over, they settled into communes. There's Mennonite communes all around my hometown, right? So we've got laws in the books. Like, you can set communes up here in Canada. You can do it fairly easily. It's a metaphor, Cesis. Calm down. Calm down, Cesis. Go tell Christia Freeland that everything's fine. Oh, hey, who's this sexy guy? Sorry, guys. How fucking unprofessional. How fucking unprofessional can you get? Fucking unprofessional, that's what that is. Fetch. Well, that's a damn shame. What happened? Is he dead? Yep, frozen to death. It's inevitable on cold winter nights. Inevitable? The city is full of near-empty buildings at night. They're all heated. Even the Porsches are warm. Yeah, but that's all private property. And that's the free market, kids. Unsubscribe! That's right. You got me, bud. Fucking unprofessional. I come here for some professionalism. This unprofessionalism is so unprofessional. Oh! Ah, well. What are you gonna do? Emery is wrong on rent control. Bigger landlords are controlling the housing market, and tenants need protections. By Matthew Hayes. This is in the New Brunswick Media Co-op. November's announcement by the progressive conservative Higgs government of a new bill to address the province's rental situation says a lot about how bad New Brunswick's rental laws are. Imagine a government bragging that it was going to prevent landlords from raising rents within the first year of a lease. Missing is any kind of rent control, like the measure brought in by the Nova Scotia government in October. If you try talking to public officials about this, as I have in recent months, one of the lines you often butt up against runs something like this. I am not sure if rent control is the right mechanism, or rent control could make the situation worse. Rent control, widely used in other provinces to relegate the rental sector, is decidedly out of favor with New Brunswick's gentry class. There has not been much of a debate about rent control anywhere similar to the one in Nova Scotia. Hardly surprising, New Brunswick is owned and controlled by the Irvings. It was, therefore, a bit of a surprise to see the University of New Brunswick's Vaughan Research Chair in Regional Economics, Herb Emery, publish a piece in the Telegraph Journal on November 2nd, referencing the Nova Scotia debate in relation to our own proposals to impose rent controls in New Brunswick. While Emery doesn't mention any of the efforts of the New Brunswick Coalition for Tenants' Rights directly, for instance, my commentary on rental reforms and the New Brunswick tenant advocate Jael Dweret's response to New Brunswick recent rental reforms, I will say, this is the slowest apocalypse ever. Dude, it's going to be slow until it's not. Right? Like, when a pot starts to bubble, it doesn't bubble all at once. But when it's bubbling, it bubbles. Emery's argument is that rent control doesn't work if housing markets are perfectly competitive. Oh, yeah. Rent controls don't work if magic is real. Like, that's literally what these guys say. Like, these fucking neoliberal hack economists are always saying, like, yeah, if magic fairy wishes were real and if fairies farted, then rent controls don't work. He goes on to argue that if markets are competitive, he seems to assume they are, then advocates of rent control are proposing policies that would actually distort housing supply and make it even more scarce and more expensive. Obviously bad for tenants. This argument that it's going to make housing even more scarce and more expensive, how could it be more expensive if the rent is controlled? Why would it be more scarce? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And their argument is always that, like, oh, that grandmother that's renting out the basement won't. Like, then get fucked. Like, who gives a shit? Like, we've got thousands of empty rental units. Like, shut the fuck up. In Fredericton, the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation counts approximately 8,500 apartments on the primary rental market. Of those, about 1 in 6 are owned by one company, Killam REIT, a real estate investment trust based in Halifax. An additional 2,000 units are owned by Coal Pits, the city's largest corporate landlord, a family-run company based in Fredericton. That means 2 firms own 3,500 units of the rental market, or over 40% of it. There are other large rental companies in the city, some locally owned like Cedar Valley Apartments, other large corporate landlords like Capriot. It is safe to say that in Fredericton, the market is closely held, meaning a few owners own a lot of it. For most institutional and neo-Keynesian economists, that type of market concentration is not competitive. No shit. But neoclassical economists, which dominate economic textbooks and business schools, assume that they are, even if their arguments often lack empirical rigor. Like what this is hitting on, and like I'm just waiting for people to actually start reporting on this in the way that I do, which is this is a religious ideology, right? Like neoliberal economics, capitalist economics, right? It's a religious ideology. It's not based on fact. It's not based on math. It's not based on even good arguments, right? It's just a religious ideology. And this reporter is somewhat calling bullshit on this, right? But he's not gotten to the point where I think we need to get, which is a complete and understanding that neoliberal economics was never an economic system. It was never supposed to be. It was always just sold to us like it was an economic system, but it's always been a religious ideology. It was designed as a religious ideology, and that religious ideology is, if you give everything to the rich, good things will happen. Like, and when you confront them and ask them really basic questions, right? When you ask them really basic questions, well, how does that work? How does giving wealthy people money actually work? They literally fade into saying things like, the invisible hand of the market will decide, which in my view is no different from saying let chaos reign, right? So we'll just let chaos reign. The god of chaos will organize the society. Like think about the incoherence of this. Chaos will reign, and that will create the most ideal system of order. That's literally what they say. That's their argument. That's always been their argument. It's incoherent. It's childish, just like religious ideologies often are. Like, even on the face of it, like, the money will trickle down. Like, what are you talking about? Can you tell me a time in history when it's ever happened that way? Has there ever been even a moment in human history where a wealthy person got a bunch of money and then trickled it down into the economy? Is that something that is real, that has actually happened? I'm so fucking sick of these guys. Like, I'm so sick of this stupid shit. But most importantly, I'm so sick of the people who are propping them up. Like, the populace is so fucking thick. Like, we're so fucking thick and selfish and childish and stupid. Like, we're so fucking thick. Like, I've got absolutely no problem saying this. Like, we don't even care about our own children. We don't even care about ourselves. Like, we literally just keep handing power to people who continuously abandon us. Like, continuously. It's become a kind of like Looney Tunes cartoon at this point. Or like, you know when Lucy convinces Charlie Brown to kick the football, and then right at the last minute, every single time she pulls the football away? Right? I'm sure you know what I'm talking about from Peanuts. That's what we're doing constantly. We're constantly doing that. We are Charlie Brown being constantly convinced by an obvious con and a grifter, which is Lucy, to kick this football so that she can remove it at the last possible second and fuck us over. Right? That's what we're doing. Every single fucking time. And every single time, even when we know that she's going to do it, even when we know that that's the case, we do it anyway. Like, is there a name for this mental illness that we're suffering from? What do you think we should name this? We need to come up with a name for this, like, collective mass delusion that we are all under. And it's got to be considered a mass delusion. Like, these guys are obviously grifters. Like, it's very clear at this point. Like, do they literally need to start walking around with guns and just shooting people in the streets? Oh, wait, they do that if you're black. Like, what do we call this mental illness that we're suffering from? What do we call it? I don't know what to call it. So it's like a kind of a Stockholm syndrome, right? Like it's got maybe I could just call it Sanderson syndrome. Just use my name. Just be like John syndrome. You know, because I'm the guy that realized that fucking, like, we have a mass delusion mental illness. Like, what else is it? Like, what else is it? We are clearly and obviously, in very obvious ways, abandoning our children. Like, I don't know what else to call it but abandonment. Like, well, you know, they don't apply the market to our pay. Yeah, they don't give a shit about that at all, dude. They don't give a shit about that at all. Capathy. I actually like that. That's really funny. Capathy. Like, what's it gonna take, do you guys think? Like, really, what do you think? Let's actually, like, let's do the thing that I said earlier that I hate to do and actually speculate. Like, what is it actually going to take for people to recognize that the system is broken to the point where it can't be recovered? Is it going to take full-scale abandonment? Like, do people literally need, like, do we need, like, 2-3 million homeless people? Is that what it's going to take? A rich enough person to suffer, yeah. It's got definitely got to be like white, blonde hair, blue eye, right? Like that's the only type of person that white people will give a shit about, for sure. Like if she's even like a little exotic looking or has like black hair, nobody will give a fuck. Like it's got to be the straight up like Aryan, blue hair, blue eyed, like nice, innocent young girl, right? But even that's starting to happen. Right? Like 30-year-old women are starting to cry on the internet about their abandonment. Go the fuck away, Norton. Nobody cares about you. I nobody. Like, it's... And, like, we already have, what's her name? Like, Greta, right? Greta Thunberg's already walking around. Like, she's a fairly affluent, wealthy young girl, right? So we've already got something like that going on. Like, and like... Towns are already burning down, right? Like, do you think that's going to be a big moment? Do you think when, like, the town of Kamloops burns down, that'll actually be a big moment, right? Like, I can tell that the media is getting ready for it. I can tell that they're getting ready to tell those stories. Yet liberal store owners cry when the free market screws them over, exactly, right? White, blonde hair, blue eyes, just like Gabby Petito, and the whole internet was crazy about that. Meanwhile, POC women get disappeared on the daily. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Like the indigenous women thing that's going on, they actually had a breakthrough on this, on the missing indigenous women, right? You know what the breakthrough literally was? They took a beat cop and they parked him on the highway where these women kept disappearing. And a truck drove by late at night, and the guy was like, that seems odd. So he followed the guy. Breakthrough. Like literally, it was the small, like that, and that's how arrogant white people are. We're so convinced that we're not going to get caught or persecuted for this shit. Like, there was a fucking active serial killer who was actively killing prostitutes. here in the city of Toronto for 40 years, right? And they found that guy on accident. Like, they weren't even looking for that guy. They just found him on accident. Like, it's like, if you're a white dude, you can literally just murder people. Like, just go after, like, minorities, go after, like, people who are on the low end of the society. They're not even gonna look. Really, they're not. Like, if you're a white dude that wants to go kill some minority groups, you can do it, and no one's gonna say shit to you. Like, just don't be, like, overt about it, right? You definitely could get away with it probably twice, right? Like, if you go to a strip club as a white male here in Canada, and you decide that you want to kill one of the black girls at the strip club, just follow her home and do it. Like, I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you'll get away with it twice. Because we don't care. Yeah, the RCMP didn't even chase a thief a block away. Yeah, because they don't give a fuck about that. They don't care, right? Like, they care. I think a global catastrophe, mega tsunami, multinational deaths. Yeah, even then, dude. I think if that happens, people will be so terrified. Like, it'll be like post 9/11, right? It'll be like post 9/11. That everyone will be so, like, ultra nationalist and, like, we need to bind together and all this, that they won't even bother attempting to analyze it. And they'll just hand power over to fascists like they do, erect, like, another Homeland Security thing like the way they did. Like, that's what I think that'll look like. That, like, since when has America ever analyzed itself after a catastrophe? Like, ever. Right? Like, they have school shootings on the regular. Like, they've got school shootings on the regular, and they don't give a shit about changing gun laws. They've got, for God's sakes, like, they've gone through a pandemic that they botched and completely failed at, and they didn't create a universal or nationalized healthcare system. Like, they don't give a fuck. They don't care. Like, if the city of Los Angeles gets plunged underwater, they'll just be like, oh, God, it's a crisis. There's literally going to be people walking around being like, God has judged us because we let homosexuality be real. Like, that's what's going to happen in America. Like, they're not going to be like, a tsunami, oh, goodness, the environmentalists were correct. We should have thought about the environment and cared. Oh, we should change our ways and repent. That's not how America rolls. Like, that's not how America rolls. America will straight out just be like, God is judging us for homosexuality and abortion. Oh, that's what America will do. Is it true 9 million die a year of starvation in the USA? That seems extreme. That seems really extreme. 9 million? How many people die of starvation every year in America? This is from 2014. The immediate is that there's so few who starve to death annually, we don't track it. Yeah, that's kind of what I think. Like, according to World Life Expectancy, a research group which uses sources, the total number of men and women dead from malnutrition is almost 4,000. Like, still an abomination, still horrible, still horrific to think about. But, like, yeah, I mean, 9 million is a lot. Like, 9 million would be a lot, dude. 9 million? Vancouver is waiting for the earthquake of the century. They've been saying that about California, too, for a long time. 4,000 too high, yeah. Does Ontario have wildfires often? Yeah, every year. Just like BC. We just don't report on them because they're not near, like, major cities or centers or anything. Right? Like, if you look at it, like, here's Toronto, here's Ottawa. All the wildfires happen up in this area. Right? So, like, you know, Thunder Bay cares. There's another town over here called Kenora that might care. Right? But they're all up here. So nobody actually gives a shit. It all affects just, like Fort Hope and Pickle Lake and, like, you know, small communities that nobody gives a fuck about.
If it was actually happening around like Ottawa or Montreal or any of that shit, people would care. But we don't. But we don't. But we don't. But we don't. Oh yeah, here's this article. 2/3 of Canadians want pandemic aid lowered or to end. We're very despicable people. We're very, very shitty. We're very, very shitty. We're very, very shitty indeed. 2/3 of Canadians say the federal government's pandemic-related benefits should either be lowered or completely ended, according to a new survey by Nanos Research. Now, of course, they haven't linked the poll, so I'm very skeptical about that. Results of the poll commissioned by CTV News. So CTV itself commissioned this poll. So this all smacks of manufacturing consent. It's got a very manufactured feel about it. Results of the poll commissioned by CTV News showed that 36% of respondents feel government aid to help Canadians weather the pandemic storm should be lowered. So fuck everybody, right? That's liberals. While 31% thinks it should expire, conservatives. Only 7% believe it should increase. 21% say it should continue at current levels. And 5% report being unsure. Geographically, respondents in Ontario and BC were more in favor of aid increasing or continuing at current levels, while Quebec and Atlantic Canada report being more in favor of aid lowering or ending completely. So you know where the scumbags live. On October 21st, Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland announced that existing income and business benefits would expire and be replaced with a set of targeted support programs. So just guaranteeing people can't get access to these things. That's what that's about. We're moving from the very broad-based support that was appropriate at the height of our lockdown to more targeted measures that will provide help where it's needed, where it's prudently managing government finances. Like, prudently managing government finances means maintaining the wealth of the oligarch class. That's what this means. Prudently managing government finances means ensuring David Thompson keeps all his money. That's what it means. And then the mythology, like, and at the end of the day, though, like, it's a random survey of 1,000 people. Like, there's 36 million people in like, this is really what you're basing this on? It just seems like a low, like, it's sort of amazing to me that we can have all of these pilot projects and show how they successfully worked to improve the lives of people. But if you have a survey of 1,000 people, one survey, one time, that can discredit the whole thing. Yeah, it does have a clickbait sort of feel about it. But it also exists to lock in those people, right, who actually do think that we should do that. Now they can confidently say that they're in the majority, right? That's what that's about. Like that, and like this kind of thing just empowers the psychopaths, right? Like, it's just completely like, yes, let's abandon people to the streets. Let's do that. Let's spend more to maintain this system of poverty. It's just unreal to me, man. It's just unreal. That's just Reddit. Oh yeah, this is brutal. So, Navient, which is a student loan servicer, we've made the 2019 Fortune 500 list. Nothing like your student loan servicer gloating about record profits while you can't pay rent. Like, this is sort of my opinion. If you don't offend corrupt elements, you will inevitably fail the party and offend the people. Are you afraid to offend hundreds of corrupt elements, or are you afraid to offend 1.3 billion people? Given the history of the Communist Party, they know what happens if you offend 1.3 billion people. Like, we're so gulled here. Like, we're so gulled. Like, we refuse to even fight for the lives of our children. I think the 3 million was the world. Sorry, but oh yeah.
No, that's fine, Major. You know, that's how it is. 9 million across the world, that makes sense. Like, and it's resolvable. It's actually quite cheap to fix that problem, right? It doesn't cost that much. Like, remember that recent tiff that what's his name had, Elon Musk had with like the World Health Organization or whoever was actually talking about it. And he was like, prove to me that this would work. And like literally the response was, money can be exchanged for goods and services. Like, it's very straightforward. YOLO it. Check a flight to Cuba right now. 1K, I bet. I bet you could find a cheaper flight than that, dude. Even. Here. Flights to Cuba. Here you go. You can do a nonstop to Holguin, $635. You can go to Santa Clara for $685. I don't know why Coco is so expensive. Like less than 1,000, and I bet you could do even cheaper. Cheap. Come on, we can do better than this. Cheapflights.ca. Toronto to Havana. An error has occurred. Come on, fuck you. Fuck you. I don't know. Let's depart. Let's leave here. Sure, here. Fuck this. It was fun at first. Oh, I know, Milo. I know. I hope you guys are doing well out there, man. I hope you're doing well out there, man. This turned into like a really energetic stream for me. Like, fuck these fucking guys. These NFT losers. Holy shit, right? Like, how the fuck do we put up with this shit? I'll find the Cuban embassy and ask how to start immigration. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. Dude, I am behind you. I am behind you. I believe you. I believe that you can do it. You better start learning Cuban. It's just getting so fucking stupid, man. Like why is everything so fucking dumb? Like we can't be this stupid, can we? Insert Clippy meme. It looks like you're trying to escape a capitalist hellhole. Would you like some assistance? That's funny, dude. That's funny. I wonder. Come on, there's got to be like a one-way ticket to Cuba cheapest. I'm curious. Look at that. If it's a one-way ticket, you can do it for $339. Tempting. Gotta tell you, that's actually like really tempting. Just like, fuck it, who cares? Like, this place is a shithole. Like, this place isn't like... No, you know what, man? Like, what's annoying about Canada is that it's actually beautiful, but we've like scarred it with all of these roads and all these shitty cars, right? You should do one episode focused on techno-feudalism. I mean, I could just play the Yanis Varoufakis statements. Like, he's... The rising techno-feudalism, like, it's going to be really serious. It's going to be really serious. Well, you need to tell them what you're going to do, or would they just give me a house? If you're going to stay there, you probably, like, there's probably a procedure. Like, you probably can't just, like, buy a one-way ticket and then just, like, chill out forever, right? Like, I suspect that you need to, like, actually emigrate. But don't listen to me, dude. Like, talk to the embassy. Like, talk to the embassy for sure. Because, like, I don't know what the fucking rules are to that. Like, they'd probably be fine with you coming in. Although I suspect that they would want you to have some kind of, like, skill, right? They'd want you to come in as, like, a skilled professional. It's very unlikely that they would probably just let someone move in because they want to. Although, but again, like, I don't fucking know. I got no idea, right? You could be a drug mule. Huh? Do you wanna be a drug mule? I just don't get why. I just don't get why we're so interested in suffering as a people. Like the worship of our suffering is odd and strange to me. That if you're having a good time, something's gone wrong as far as people are concerned. That if you are trying to just relax and be calm and live like a normal, rational life, that's bad. Oh, I know, buddy. You want to go get it? Go get it. Yeah, you don't see the cult from within. I think that's exactly right, bud. I think that's exactly right. That, like, it's like when you live, like when I lived in my small community, like when I was a kid living in small rural Manitoba, like here I am in Portage la Prairie, Manitoba. Like I lived not even in Portage la Prairie. I lived actually here. Where's Edwin? But I lived around here, right? Near this community of Edwin. Yeah, I lived in a house. My father and mother were born in. He was born in Holland, right? As you could see, like small town, and even he was like a farmer, so he was actually living more out in this area. And she was from Rathwell, right? Like literally, look at it, guys. Look at it. This is where my parents came from. They met each other because they both went to school in Treeherne, which again, let's have a look at it, right? Like this is small town Manitoba. This is small town Manitoba. Oh, are you from Manitoba too, Alan? Where are you about? Where about? Oh, this is fun. But you can see, like, this is small town. And then they move to Portage la Prairie in order to get to the big city, right? Like, here's Portage la Prairie. The big city of Portage la Prairie. Oh, you're in Winnipeg. Good stuff, bud. Good stuff. Big city boy. Big city boy living in the big city of Winnipeg. The Peg. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Big city. Your wife is from Reston? Ask your wife if she knows Alan Wheeler or Mary Wheeler. That's my uncle. You were born in Toronto. How the hell did you end up in Winnipeg, dude? In any case, this whole thing was, yeah, the Wheelers, Alan and Mary Wheeler. This is gonna be amazing, dude. This is gonna be like a true small town Manitoba moment. If she knows the Wheelers, Alan and Mary, they've got five boys. They've recently moved out of Reston because they're getting older, so they've moved into Winnipeg just to get some long-term care. But if she's from Reston, like Reston's a very small community. Let's see if I can find Reston. A roundabout route through Western Canada, met my wife. All prairie girls return home. I know I went home once. For sure. I feel like it's part of the millennial experience to end up back home. Where the fuck is Reston? Reston. Yeah, like another just like real small town. Like literally like just like one grocery store, right? The kind of place where there is technically a campground, but you might as well just go out into the bush. And so while I was here, right, while I was living here, I didn't really have an understanding about how fucking racist everybody was, right? And like how like entrenched that racism was. And you can see here, right? There's the Long Plains and the Dakota Plains, the First Nations reserves. There's a couple others around as well. I wonder if they make it onto the map. But in any case, and I remember one day I went home to Portage la Prairie and I got talking to somebody. Alan Mary Wheeler, she lives next door to them. This true Manitoba moment, this true Canadian moment, brought to you by John the Canadian Commie. Ding. That's hilarious, dude. That's so fucking funny. You're literally like, oh, you're from Manitoba, eh, bud? Yeah, I'm from Manitoba. Are you from Manitoba? Well, no, I'm from Toronto. I just moved. I moved into Winnipeg. I met a girl though. She used to live in Reston. Oh, Reston! I got an uncle and aunt from Reston. Does she know the Wheelers? Oh yeah, she lived next door to the Wheelers. Oh no, you're no way. Look at that, Alan. Look at that. So we're basically relatives. Like we're basically related, right? Like you are like I'm like your next door neighbor cousin. Yeah. That's so funny. Hey, Louise Sunga. I don't know if I've ever seen you in here, Louise, but if I have or haven't, either way, good to see you. What got you radicalized? Big question, Louise. Big question. Big question. I think a lot of it was just my consistent asking Sanderson. And my mom's name is Mary Wheeler as well. So, like, Al is married to Mary Wheeler, and my mom's name is Mary. So, Mary Wheeler. And I kept asking the question, right? And this is partially because of my Christian upbringing, I think. But I kept asking the question, like, why are there poor people? What's with the poor people? Like, what's with the poverty? Right? And they just kept asking, like, and I kept asking it, And I think finally the thing, and I even created like a basic income group here in Toronto because like we should be eliminating poverty, right? And then finally, I think the thing that tipped me over into full-scale communism, and it's funny that it went this way, but it's absolutely the truth, was Jordan Peterson. That when Jordan Peterson came out strong against the Marxists, even though he's completely illiterate, like it's very clearly that he's illiterate, I knew and understood that like, oh, this is something that sticks in these guys' craw. So I'm going to call myself a communist because I'm going to stick in these guys' craw. Like, I've always been about eliminating poverty and alleviating poverty. I think poverty is a crime and a sin. It's always been that way for me. That I shouldn't say always. Like, I mean, I've had my delusions and all that kind of stuff. But like, it's like the idea that we live in a society that allows this poverty to exist at all, to me, tells you that the society there's something wrong with us. And, well, I mean, like, he's so clueless, right? Like, he's so clueless that, you know, and you just, like, read the Communist Manifesto, and you're like, oh, this is logical, makes complete and total sense, is a full articulation of what is real, right? And obvious. And if a guy like Peterson is going to be, is against it, then I'm for it. Alistair, Vaughn, Ian, Mark are the boys she remembers. Yeah, missing Eric, but that's okay. That's so funny, dude. That made my night, Alan. That made my night. That made my night. All right, guys. We made it to 9 o'clock. We made it to 9 o'clock. Just remember, guys, each and every one of you is a quantum being standing around in quantum energy. These billionaires are spending hundreds of billions of dollars hoping that you don't realize it. Don't let them. Good luck. We're going to need it.